by comparison. And our partners at LootBet seem to agree. Of course, if you click the banner under the Twitch channel, then you can find yourself a good opportunity to get involved in the multi-vibes tournaments, of course, with the betting systems. You can get 10 free CSGO spins and up to 100 euros bonus on your deposit by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel. So, let's get into our pistol round. We've got body on the defuse kit here for LDLC, utility for Afro, we've got utility for Inters over on the GAMBIT youngster side, and a very fast play in from the T-side forces. Afro backed up, tapped up, and taken down by Shiro. Tries to re-smoke down the cross. No one's going to smoke cross on the T-side. They will be able to get by successfully, though. Taps up from Lambert, doing damage, no frags. Instead, it's Axel the double up, and a 5-on-3 for GAMBIT youngsters.
Well, what a way to show some, early discipline. How quick that is into the B bomb site. That puts so much pressure on the back of LDLC to try and retake this bomb site, and they're already so far locked out. They're 3 down, 2 players down. There's only 3 players left, and what a pistol round coming out. Shiro with the Glock. Nafani chiming in. What a statement that is from GAMBIT youngsters. Man, that was in your face, that was aggressive, and that was a sharp pistol round.
Beautiful shooting from Shiro, and of course, just generally a fantastic round from GAMBIT youngsters. And we talk about that T side of Dust too, but that's the qualities that the qualities really is shines on that map most specifically, but it can come out in many other T sides as well. And here on Inferno is already a great start for the GAMBIT youngsters side. And if LDLC lose this first map, I realize it's early doors, but they lose Inferno, there's a good chance that a 2-0 could come down here from the GAMBIT youngsters side. Already off on the starting foot here. The MAC-10s and the rifles are out. And MAC-10s on 3. Super and Axel have the Galil and AK respectively. Expecting aggression from the CT side. And they'll get a little bit of it, but they're not going to overextend. But just going to look for Axel here towards the broken wall. Fall back to passive and hard cover. Flash in, and he does find that opening kill.
Unfortunately, the T's were just kind of split there towards that B banana position, and there was no way of a trade coming out. We saw some great flashes coming out, peaks off the back of it, and for LDLC, they've been able to take a 5-on-3. Now, from here, Jay, they can play passive in the sides and just establish crossfires between them.
Held up across the board at this moment. The Galil standing by, backed up here to the haystack. Flash is over with the CT is trying to hold off against anyone who might make their way around this corner. The smoke will go down, and that will force the 2 CTs forward from the B bomb site to grab those rifles. Super gets 1 pick, not expecting Haji or the cross lock back to the bomb site. The Deagle kill will come through, and they'll draw their attention, continuing towards Pit now. The backup is on the way. You've got body out here towards CT spawn, going to be contested by the AK of Inters. He needs to isolate this pick and go right back in, wrap around towards the A bomb site. Will sneak his way forward, and they are expecting this. Sixer will look towards the end of the smoke. 25 seconds, he spotted the man, and now backup can close in. They need to execute now. 20 seconds. GAMBIT youngsters looking for that headshot. Inters will take him down. Haji being faced up against Dinked up. Inters will double up, and now it's a 2-on-2 for the retake.
This is still very doable coming out from LDLC, and the reason for that is how quickly the rotations come out to this A bomb site. They're not being delayed. The rotates come in incredibly quickly, and they've got utility. 2 flashes and a smoke. They've got the HP advantages to work with, but for GAMBIT youngsters, they're not peeking. They're on the site together.
Eagle check-in, smoke goes down, MAC-10 looks up, sees Shiro, jumps around that corner, still gets taken out, and Shiro doubles up. Beautiful heads coming through. $1,200 to his name. They do lose the Galil, unfortunately, but it will be a 2-0 start for the youngsters.
And I tell you what, for LDLC, they can probably be a bit disappointed with that last round, all honesty. They had a 5-on-3, they had a really great position, but what GAMBIT youngsters did, and it's something that is a very unique playstyle, and it's very difficult to deal with, is often how passive they are. We saw that there were 3 players alive, they slowly made their way up through short, and as soon as that moto smoke comes up, all they do is try and force the CTs into the open, and there should be a meat grinder. Oh, the amount of kills of the MAC-10s. Well, that's a good way to build up the money.
$2,400 in kill bonus cash.
Not bad.
Nice and easy there for the GAMBIT youngsters. And Sheridan still won away with the Glock frag, but of course he had plenty of backup there behind him. As you mentioned, loads of SMG kills, so therefore loads of money for the T-side rebuy. I think they'll still keep a couple of those SMGs in place so they can get some value out of those weapons. If they get any of these players down on the CT cam, then it would be successful in that respect. But head Kevlar across the entire LDLC board, so it won't be that easy. Incendiary's up, the AWP Sixer makes his way in, scoped and ready, falling back out alongside Lambert as they take second mid control. The timing on the LDLC defense, not quite as perfect as they'd like it to be, but they do hold passive defensive and they don't concede any HP or mana advantage.
And for LDLC, they've now rotated a fourth player to their A bomb site. We see Afro just jump spotting out towards Broken Wall, allows the stack to come in at the A bomb side. And for GAMBIT youngsters, we haven't really seen a lot of map control coming out through their default. They haven't taken Banana. It's just looking for the apartments. This could be an apartments pop coming out for the youngsters.
Energy with the M4 backing up. And a way to work in out of the apartments area. Minute to go. Smoke set from Nafany. Further smokes from Inters as well. Going to try and block off and keep all the vision blocks from the CT count. They jump in. The back 10 drops down. Hadji gets one pick, but Super will trade it back. Lambert still on site. Back up here towards long, dealt with by Axel. And a 3-on-4 situation still in effect for the T side favor. Lambert holding on. Inters does not check the site. Ends up going down to evens will be played. Lining up frags and damage, but Axel gets his kill as Afro sneaks in from Mexico. Shero's going to give up his position by jumping, and he does go down. So the Mat 10's taken out, an M4 and AK over there. 2 versus 2. Retake for LDLC, but they've got no kit.
That's another retake coming out from the Frenchman, and even for Axel, a very aggressive angle around this porch position, seeing if he can catch off one of the players lurking around this short position. And considering that there's no kit, they are really taking their time. Afro giving his position up towards Boiler, as Sixer needs to get involved in the action. Unfortunately, he can't. Another great post plant coming out from GAMBIT youngsters. How many times have we now seen LDLC forced into the retake? They're not shutting it down on the bomb sites.
Putting a lot of stock on those retakes when they're at a clear disadvantage. Think about the damage the GAMBIT youngsters did with the Mac 10s, let alone the rifles. 3 players went down, but that's fine because the 2 main AKs can stay in play, and therefore GAMBIT youngsters don't lose anything of major value. You can see the money is built up already in this matchup. 4 rounds in, and we're back to a half buy for LDLC. So not the best of starts on the CT cam, and Anthony will take out the opening kill. Afro's going to try and aggressive catch Inters off guard. He's back down. He might end up losing his life. Shearer, oh no. He spotted so much. Nades up. 2 Deagle kills. Axel next to face. I think that nade did a bit more damage to the man. He'll re-smoke Mexico, ensure that they can't make their way out. Super's got no choice but to stay back, and Rifles can get picked up to a 4-on-3 advantage.
Oh my goodness, Afro, what a play coming out. Unfortunately, he can't find any more than that. The timing was just impeccable. Goes all the way down towards bottom mid. No one sees him. And even for Sixer, is this position going to get checked?
Yes, it will.
It will. A bomb site's open.
A quick plant to come through, backstab coming in from body out towards the mid position. Couldn't cut off the bomb from the apartment entrance in time. He does find a face against Super, and going to keep this at a relatively decent standing. 2-on-2 with the 5-7 facing, seeing a man out quad, seeing his shoulder get away as well. Body will burn to try and find an early aggressive face, but that's going to cost him HP with no chance against it. Nafany heard it. Spray through on the man. Lambert baits and switches. Nades up, damage done. Spray through, 24 HP for the last man of the CT camp. Axel reveals his position and falls back out a dodge here into the open, out towards Graveyard now. No kit again for the lone CT, and on a half buy. This is a very good round from LDLC, doing the damage to the GAMBIT youngsters. If he makes this clutch work out, it'd be even better, but it's not enough patience, not enough presence, not enough map control, not enough HP, not enough anything. And the 5th will go the way of GAMBIT.
This has got to be so frustrating from LDLC, because they're thinking and looking at so far and thinking, like, I can't believe GAMBIT youngsters are up 5-0. We should have at least been able to win 2 or 3 rounds, because it's come down to retakes, and unfortunately, they haven't been able to hold on to advantages. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that is the weakness at the moment for LDLC, is we've seen them get opening kills. We've seen them have those opening man advantages, but it seems like they just can't hold on to it. And now they're trying something different. It's the double up setup.
Get one of those orbs boosted out to that mid position. Facing in, Shiro reads it. He's not letting Sixer get with that one. Afro towards Banana will hold contention. A little bit of utility, but not a lot of damage done. Lambert's going to grab that second orb as well, knowing that they really need to get some value out of this. Do something with the opening frags, or at least the trade frags. They've obviously lost the control early on here. And flashes in against Afro, landing right in front of his face. Will keep him blind for the moment. He still holds presence towards Stack, though. Refacing, shot not going to connect. Shiro gets him down. It's a second frag here for GAMBIT youngsters.
Oh, and even for Supra, doing lurking over towards this apartments. As soon as Lambert extends, okay, see in the gun barrel, easy kill. This is looking exceptional for the Gambit youngsters. They're playing with so much freedom at the moment. Now, even with Hadji getting a kill towards A, it doesn't really help the situation because the CTs are split, and as soon as Hadji goes down, Body's just going to have to try and save onto this M4. But even with that, look how much lurking Gambit youngsters are doing. They realize how important it is to make sure they're taking these rifles out of play.
And LDLC, a bad spot as a result of it. I mean, they can cover off whatever rotation to the site right now. They've got players out in CT spawn, therefore they can just hold off against Body's rotation, isolate Hadji to the back corner, take him down. Just don't have to give it the 1v1s. If they do that, then they could start losing control, and Nafri will make that very mistake. Information being given out towards the apartments as well. Inter's faced in. Good flashbang from Shiro to support. Body will get Axel as well, and it taps up. Shiro will take the last man down, so a bit needlessly aggressive from Gambit youngsters, you know, like they could have waited for players to get to position. They didn't have to extend all the way to that B bomb site. So 1-on-2 for Body. It's not exactly winnable. He's got a kit, no utility. He's also given up his position. Going to jump face around the corner to the AWP. And Shiro will drop him easy as that. 4 frags for the all for the Gambit youngsters side, and a 6-0 start for the T's.
Man, what is Shiro doing? Like, he does not need to peek that. It's a 2v1. They know where he is at long, but that's just the playstyle of Gambit youngsters. It's so questionable. I don't know how many times we've casted these guys last couple of months. It's got to be at least 15. And every time we watch them, there's certain rounds that we go like, why? Why are they doing this? But it's their playstyle. They do things that are very uncharacteristic, and it catches people off guard. Shiro is goddamn 13-2 at the moment. He's having a lights out performance, and LDLC, they are not catching a break at the moment.
And you highlighted him in the pre-game, remember? You're like, oh, Shiro and Axel, Shiro and Axel. There you go. Shiro's doing a fantastic job. Yeah. Axel doesn't need to do a great job, but he's still second top fragging right now for his team. And certainly miles off the top fraggers of LDLC. 4 kills for Hadji at the moment. And this was my worst fear. You know, you'll get a lot of, like, you know, cynical comments about these guys are washed up. They'll never be anything like that. And
yeah,
performances like this will not aid that sort of sentiment. You know, it won't aid the counter sentiment for LDLC.
No, it really won't, and you've got to think, right, there needs to be a response here. They've certainly found opening kills. They've struggled on the site defenses. Maybe try and take some control. We haven't really seen Banana being taken a lot from LDLC. They haven't really got aggressive outside maybe the first 15, 20 seconds of the round where they're looking for an opening kill. Maybe see if you can get some aggression later in the round. But this is their map pick. Like, if it was Gambit youngsters map pick, I could say, okay, fair enough, 6-0. This is LDLC's map pick, Jay, in the grand final.
So not been a great start. You wonder when the tactical pause is going to come out and when they'll turn this around. I imagine with max loss bonus, they'll look to the rifles. Ooh. Afro, though, tanks a nade, peeks straight up, takes a man down. That's a good start there. Needs a little bit more to try and aid them in this contact. The 5-on-4 situation with a minute to go on the clock. Gambit youngsters currently taking faith to try and find the trades back. They haven't gained a rifle, of course, here on that CT side. A lot more left to do.
So far, this is a great start. It's 50 seconds left. You've baited out a fair bit of utility from the T side. You've got that opening pick. You know where Super is lurking around this boiler position. Maybe if they try and overextend, take him down. But unfortunately, it's going to be the B play. This is looking like a deep CT smoke coming out from Insters to maybe try and wrap around through coffins.
Flash over, Deagle in for Body, going to try and find something out here. He's out in the open, sees one man. They are blinding off the T-side. Afro gets a kill, and Nafri finally takes him down. A double up, though, for the T-side member, and a 4-on-3 situation. Body's still in for the backline. Super doesn't check in. Damage done, but all the bullets miss. Deagles make their way in. Lambert and Sixer do take it down to Axel, left alone now. 1-on-2, 10 HP for the man. Needs to grab that bomb. 5 seconds, there's no time for this. Lambert, as soon as he peeks, will have the kill. He'll have the round, and LDLC's pistols do make it work for them this time.
They just made it really awkward, and all that came down to was a lot of chaos. But what is not chaos is opening up some sick cases with our great case partner of Hellcase. They're offering you guys at home some fantastic codes to use on their fantastic website, Malta V and Malta V15, to get a little bit of cash in your pocket and a 15% refill bonus. Now, what we saw in that last round, Jay, was just so many distractions being played. The T-side didn't know whether to look for a new box or coffins or CT, and that's more like it from LDLC, creating chaos and just creating opportunities, and it came off the beginning of an opening kill.
The big start, obviously, for them. Secondary follow-up here from Sixer in this round. Nafany, the casualty. A 5-on-4 situation, further smokes up. Out towards cross, nades in towards the short position, and there's no one really to receive the damage of it right now with the CT side. They're playing pretty passively across their line. I guess they realized that GAMBIT youngsters are taking advantage of the opening kills, and this time having the man advantage, knowing that they're going to be very severely hindered when it comes to their hits, they can just sit pretty and wait, get them information, and just hold on for the execution.
You got to think, a lot of the maps for GAMBIT youngsters on the T side, they are a very slow, methodical style team, especially on these defaults. They like to take their time. They like to see if they can bait out over rotations. And it seems like, at least for the beginning stages of Inferno, they tried to put the pressure on by being very aggressive. And now they're going back to what works the best for them, what they feel most comfortable, setting themselves up for a big play.
M4 takes out one, Intis will take down one more, but Lambert burns that man alive thanks to the damage done by Body initially. 2-on-4, and they've been suppressed back behind that Molotov. The bomb will get picked up looking to commit to this B bomb site. I mean, GAMBIT youngsters don't really have much of a choice. And a 4-on-2 situation, Incendiary is coming in at the right time to stop him. The AWP watching out to the CT, cross Supra, waiting for the flames to clear up so we can get a plant in finally now. Coming down, but this will be such a difficult retake for GAMBIT youngsters to fend off LDLC at a clear and obvious advantage now. AWP peeks coming in, Shiro does not land a shot. Supra facing away, Shiro supports it, but both players get on their positions, and Lambert can punish one. It's all to Shiro now. Standout performance so far in his map up. He gives up info to get some back. Looking for Lambert as well, round this corner slowly. Doesn't get the shot. And that will be a third frag for Lambert, a second on the board for LDLC. And they have been struggling in some of these rounds, but they're coming out good on them. They may see a force play coming back from GAMBIT youngsters here.
And finally, they've been able to destroy the economy from GAMBIT youngsters. We spoke about that in the early game. I can't believe they're even forcing this. But they've now, at least going into round number 9, with a relatively weak buy. It's not going to be the strongest up for the CIS Russians. And LDLC, look, some of these rounds have been close, there's no doubt about it, but they need to maintain control. We've seen a couple of good rounds from them in a row. They need to follow up, and you've got to think follow up on a round like this can be absolutely vital.
Shot from Sixer, trying to take one down. Damage done. Hadji with an awkward spray. Comes out with a kill though. Faces in on towards Shiro and drops him, and they just can't deal with his mid-pressure from the CT side. Bursts into the M4. Axel gets himself two picks, I should say, but him and Nafany 4, and the AWP there to clean up the last frag. So there you go. Chaos in the mid position, but LDLC come out on top. The GAMBIT youngsters on the force buy. They won't have any bomb plant bonus, therefore round 10 is going to be an eco from the T side.
That was probably the scrappiest round we've seen from either of these teams yet. That was just ridiculous. There was so many gunfights out through mid. We saw aggression coming out from the CTs towards Boiler and the apartments, and out through bottom mid, out through top mid. And GAMBIT youngsters, yes, it all fell apart, but I'm not sure if that kind of a style of, chaos from both teams is going to continue. At least they put some more rounds up on the board, but it's going to be a rush up through Banana.
Straight up and out, 2-for-1 trade for Body. USP looking for his third, and he'll get it as well. Supra falling pretty easily. Lack of Kevlar. Not going to do much protection here for the GAMBIT youngsters side. So Inters picks up one AK that was dropped on Lambert. You could possibly use that for damage later on. I don't think there's much of a sense in saving it, especially as Afro gets his headshot. Nice quick kill. M4 swinging in against Axel. See that bomb, and Axel does take him down, so damage sustained. If you can get another good pick, that'll do some more damage to the economy state of the CT camp. Just jump facing against Afro, seeing him. AK trying to shoulder bait the shot. The M4's coming in from the back lines, and Axel's basically sandwiched here. He's got no way out.
No, he really doesn't. And gets taken down. They do find a couple of kills, so they still make the round relatively expensive. But for LDLC, they've been able to at least hold on to these double AWPs for quite some time, which means they don't have to reinvest it going forward. And for GAMBIT youngsters, I don't think a tactical pause would be necessary now, but maybe if they lose this round, it could be a good opportunity. You're against your opponent's map pick. You had a really great start. LDLC are now finding a better confidence. They're hitting some really great shots. They're winning out some very convincing rounds. It could be a bit of a moment to take a bit of a pause and to just rethink their tactics. Oh, nades.
Damage on Nafany and Inters. This is very heavy damage as well. Very bad spot right now here for the T side. The AWP from Afro could easily get a wallbang kill if he fired at the right time. Facing against Afro, wins out the fight against Shiro. 5-on-4, spray back from Nafri, can't get the kill, the return. Afro instead, blind fires through smoke, gets him down. And these rounds from LDLC have been looking much better than the initial 6.
Yeah, certainly so. It seems like they've at least been able to bring a bit of confidence just individually. Afro doing a fantastic job to find those opening 2 kills, and now forcing Gambit youngsters to try and make a play out to this A bomb side. The unfortunate thing is, though, with Axel with long control, they're actually forcing the rotators to wait behind this utility, but Lambert, he's just going to peek through the molly.
Yeah, Axel to fall. Orb shots ringing out, but the 2 T-side players swinging in. Hadji takes down 1. Going to face in against Inters on 22 HP. This is not a fight he can win. He might get 1 frag, but the trades are going to be so easily forthcoming for the CT side. Nades coming on, actually landing a bit awkward there, so doesn't land towards the man. And 6 is there with you, ready and waiting to face. Ready to take the kill down. LDLC, 6 rounds lost in a row, 5 rounds in a row to come back. And now with 1 more to turn an equalization, there's a half-buy coming in the opposition.
Okay, seems like Gambit youngsters have come to a bit of a halt at the moment. They've just not been able to reap the success that they found in the early stages. And well, for LDLC, they're certainly turning up the heat, making it very chaotic, especially around Banana. That's a position where I think Gambit youngsters have really come out worse for wear, is the fact of how much damage has been done from utility when the round starts off.
Gambit youngsters falling to pieces in the last few rounds. Certainly hasn't looked as confident. Looks a lot more reckless. And LDLC have got a beat on what they're doing. They're punishing them for all their transgressions here. The rifles coming up in the next round have to try and find some sort of return. The LDLC would trust barrel this out of control. Right now they've got the confidence to push up mid, try and sandwich them into Banana. Lambert and Body getting those opening couple of frags. Nice and simple from Body and Afro on the crossfire. Shiro will get 1, but Afro doubles up. Nice and easy there for LDLC, 6-0, and all of these rounds have come through here on the CT side with only 1 bomb plant out from Gambit youngsters.
LDLC are playing a really big no-respect kind of style of play, especially in these last few rounds. They're very aggressive up through mid. They're trying to take the challenge, and for most CT teams in Inferno, normally play relatively passive. You don't really want to overextend and try and take any opening fights that aren't really necessary, but they seem to be playing with a lot of confidence. They want to put the pressure on the back of Gambit youngsters, and that's why they're winning so many rounds in a row, is that they are aggressing. They're getting in their face, and Gambit youngsters have just not been able to find the firepower to deal with the aggression on the city side. I mean, look at even the AWP from Afro.
Ready and waiting for the kill. Nice and easy. They've read the contact play so well against Gambit youngsters. And Afro kicks things off for Nafani, taking him down to the 5-on-4 as you mentioned. AK Super will try to find something back here towards the apartments, but just nothing will be received. Gambit so passive on the receiver from LDLC from here. Sixer's got his own AWP. He's seen the gun barrel of Super. He's ready to take him down. Reactions have been pretty stellar so far in this matchup. Smoke up from Super. We're going to try and draw their attention to the A bomb side, though. There's 3 players out here as their main execution comes into B.
And even with Super lurking over towards Boiler, what can he really do at this point? Because the CTs at A aren't really aggressing now. They're playing quite deep into the sites, playing quite passive. Once they've already found the opening pick, and it's just a clean up at B. Looking excellent from LDLC. Really picked up their game and just completely shutting Gambit youngsters down. Not a single kill goes the way of the T side. And that's what I love, is the fact that they aggress Afro very far forward in the apartments. He finds that pick, and rather than looking for more, they just fall back and say, you know what? We can give you the map control because we want to hold on to the advantages. And finally, we're going to see a tactical pause coming out from Gambit youngsters.
And it's pretty successful at shutting down the main fraggers over on that T side. As you mentioned, very little kills going against that CT line. You can see the money line is bolstered. 3 players on 10k post-buy. Meanwhile, the numbers haven't progressed that much from Shiro. Obviously, he was on 13 frags about 7 rounds ago. Not the case anymore. 15 so far. Hasn't kept on track. Meanwhile, Afro stepped up. He's been doing fantastic. 12 kills, top fragger of the CT line, followed closely by Body and Lambert. And they found the counter plays they need here. Gambit youngsters not ready for the aggression that's come through from LDLC. These adjustments may work well to close out the half to their favor on the CT side. It's going to be a good sign for the Frenchmen, obviously, in their map pick. Gambit youngsters on their tactical will not go for a force play here. They're going to go half play into the 15th and try and make at least an 8-7 workout for them. They can still use that on CT side as a balanced map. But yeah, not the sort of finish they would have wanted to see, having gotten 6 rounds in a row.
Certainly. When I saw the 6-0 lead, I was thinking, yeah, maybe double digits up for GAMBIT youngsters in this first half. They were looking dominant. They were looking scary. And, well, LDLC have found the perfect way to just deny all of that. And potentially even take the lead going into the second half. Certainly with a buy like this, an apps pop potential coming through for the T side, but there's 3 players here at this A-bomb site.
Okay, spray. Nafany takes out Haji to start things off. Finally, GAMBIT youngsters getting under control here. AK's picked up by the high HP man. Lambert on 10 HP meanwhile. And the plant can be secured. Double off sets up for the retake on LDLC. They lost their main rifles, so there's not much they can do about that. Want to commit with these rifles to their own right. Lambert's going to get passed off the AWP by 6 to the M4 to start facing in. These smokes go down here. And here come LDLC with the utility out as appropriate. Nade on Super, will tag him at 22. PD50 facing up, and Sherry, he goes down to 6's hands. Tech9 tapping up, and the AK and Nafany facing up here. Axel gets 1. Nafany gets another 3-on-2 situation. 2 last CTs coming in from short. Sherry spotting and spray. Nafany's his second man. 6 lines up, 2 of them though. Both Nafany and Super peek into his spray, and the spray will come back onto the last man on the site. But now 6 has got to run for the hill as it enters. He will go up with the bomb, but he will secure the round here for GAMBIT youngsters.
Oh, he just gets that up. We saw Sixer was trying to pick that up on the way out and wasn't able to do so. So he goes back in. They had enough money to go for the AWP investment anyway, but why not? And I tell you what, one thing that LDLC did in that last round, Jay, which we haven't really seen a lot from this half, is just some sloppy sprays. And one thing that if you're any team against GAMBIT youngsters and you have a round where you've got a couple of players that have got a couple of sloppy sprays or not individually up there with the aim, they'll just punish you. And that's exactly what happened.
6 are straight out against Shiro, doubling up on towards Nafany as well. M4 of Haji so close to the T-spawn entrance, but he doesn't get any kills with it. Half throw there with an 8 up on Inters as well, dealing damage and taking the man down. 4-on-2 situation, the aggression coming in wholeheartedly from LDLC, and they are not letting anything else go the way of GAMBIT youngsters. 1 player left in Supra, 1-on-4 for him to win. Might catch 6 of being low HP as he gets onto the balcony railing. But that's about as far as it will go. The bomb's out in CT control. Can face all he wants. He can get as many kills as he likes. Unless he can take the 1v1s and lose very little HP for it. Be very little chance for him to make this work out. They're tapping their way through. Lambert's so close. And he gets his frag to close it out for LDLC. 8-7 at the half. And again, an impressive recovery considering what we saw in the first 6.
It really was. And LDLC have got a very interesting game plan going into the city side of Inferno. I wonder whether we're going to see sort of the same aggression, in-your-face playstyle now moving over to the T side. Really reminds me of how Windigo used to play the back end of last year with that Bulgarian roster, where they did a lot of pushing on that city side. They were looking for a lot of information. Now, what is even more interesting, Jay, is our good friends over at LootBet are still favouring the GAMBIT youngsters after LDLC have put up a tremendous performance in that first half.
And credit to them, they were the underdogs coming into this series, now with a big chance to turn it over against GAMBIT youngsters to win out their map pick here in their best of 3. It's the Pistols out for round 16. We've got upgrades over on Afro. He's immediately taken out by Shiro though, so that was a waste. Utility still in for Haji and Lambert. Smoke and a flash for each of them, so they can get themselves set up for a decent execution play. Smoke coffins and cross if they want to go to the B bomb site. Options to A as well. The diffusers on Nafany here for GAMBIT youngsters. And LDLC will be very careful about how they take face.
Now, they do have a couple of smokes, so they could potentially use one down towards Moto and then keep one later in the round for that post plan to buy themselves some more time in delaying the retake. 50 seconds on the clock, still slowing things down, and even for Nafany, rotating that kit in from the B bomb site out through library with a couple of flashes to work with. Both smokes actually going into the bomb site, and well, straight away, the information's here.
USP tapped up. Naffling on 27 HP, enters close against Body, evading his position, but it's going to be Steve. Taps up to his backhand side though, and Body swings around 180 to take him down. Axel still here to mini pit. Gonna have to back up because he realizes the T-side players are calling all around him, and he's gonna get checked. Body dropping him with the headshot. Lambert gets one as well. 3 on 2. Shearer's making his way out. Body's tapping up from mini pit. Headshot angles being conceded, but no frag capitalized by Gambit Youngsters. Super gets 1. Body gets 2 more though. 4 frags for Body. A massive round for the T-side entry.
Is he waiting for a G2 call-up? What's going on here for Body? My goodness, what a performance on that pistol round. Those were some insane shots. We saw a massive whiff coming out from one of the players on the city side in the apartments, and Body, he just capitalizes on that huge mistake.
I think that ship has sailed on the G2 call-up, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Way to kick a man, dude. Come on. Well, Mac 10's in for LDLC. Scout straight out for Shiro. Looking to try and take the first man down. He'll do damage to Body, but get traded back with his own Deagle out here. For Axel needs to do something. He can't do anything. And LDLC playing at the speed of light right now. On shore, already wrapping around from long. Lambert sees 2. Couldn't get the frag on Shiro, interestingly. Deagle out for Inters, tapping, spamming, spraying through, and they'll get simple kills like that. Afro taking out his own teammate, unfortunately, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but 4 on 2 regardless. LDLC in full control, in the best position possible here against a Deagle and an MP9. This should not be a retake for the youngsters.
This is probably the first time, I would say, over the course of the entire week of the Malta Vibes, the Gambit youngsters are struggling. We saw them going up 6-0. They looked incredibly good, and now it's just been thrown away from them. One thing in the back of my mind is, imagine what would have happened if LDLC won Pistol and got off to a bit of a good start rather than the slow 0-6 they were. This is just incredible CS. Very unique, and it's really catching Gambit youngsters off guard. It's just so aggressive. That's all it is it's so in your face. The trading ability is there. And the Mac 10s, well, they just absolutely wrecked into that A-bomb site.
Yeah, simple stuff there from LDLC. And the Eco's got to come back right now from the CT side. There's nothing they can do about it. The SMG being saved is going to be their main weapon, but there shouldn't be many major investment. Maybe some upgrade pistols, but even that will be a bit of a stretch. Need the rifles for the 19th round. Try and hold some contest against LDLC. And certainly not what we were expecting. Gambit youngsters with such a confident start in this map up, and it's all kind of faded away, but still seeing signs of what they can do here. The defense just needs to compound. Matt 10's keeping closer though. A 4-man stack over on the A-bomb side. They might walk into a bit of a boost up, but not really much that they should be able to do about it here. Enters, first man faced, Lambert takes him down, clears out long so they can enter. Might wrap back in against the CTC on this 3-man boost. Well, technically 3-man boost, but I digress. Either way, they've got the site, they've got the round.
And they don't need to go hunting. They'll know the fact that they're just up against USPs. But even for Lambert, he wants to go a little bit further, and straight away he can call out the information. They're doing a triple boost out through long, so at least for LDLC, we'll know where the pressure's coming through. I'm surprised they're hunting this aggressively.
Well, the cash and the Mac 10s, that makes sense. Then grab that AK. I mean, Axel's going to be low, so they will be able to maintain control of that. I don't understand the logic, though. Well, what's the need of facing aggressively like this? 11-7. Gambit youngsters with their investment now. The AWP on Shiro. M4s across the rest of the CT board. Let's see if LDLC can contest against the real weapons of Gambit youngsters.
Now, if you're Gambit youngsters and you need to come back, you're looking at Shiro, because he was, what, 13-2 at one stage. He's only 17-14. He really has gone quiet for quite some time. He's got to be the man to pull the strength back and to get you back in the game. And I tell you what, he may even be able to get an opportunity out here towards Banana, because the T side, again, very aggressive.
Nathany and Sixer training round kills back and forth. And Shiro takes the ball back. Nice and efficient there from the CT camp. Now Gambit youngsters having Banana control. I didn't think they'd actually hit that shot, but here we are. Mortal trying to siphon off Shiro from Super, but with him drawing all their attention back there with the AWP, they might not be ready for the sandbags face. won't be ready for any banana face. Instead, they're going to go back to the A-bomb site.
Yeah, realizing the fact of, you know, we're not too interested over at B now. Let's start to slow walk the brackets position. But Shiro's already on a relatively quick rotate out through Speedway. If they get a smoke down towards that arch position, that will isolate the AWP from finding a pick. Oh my goodness.
Okay then, body. Shoulder bait shot to the head, and suddenly it's all Supra on the B side defense. They're going to wrap that bomb around as well. I don't know if he saw it. He will now. Smoke on towards construction. They know what's going on now. CT's on rotate, spray through on body. He still gets his second frag. And enters an Axel in a 3-on-2 against them. LDLC have the B bomb site. And this is a retake that's fallen to pieces for Gambit youngsters.
They're out of there. Oh my goodness. That was insane from body. Those kills were so damn quick. And I'm not sure how many people at home realize how difficult it is to peek into an AWP that's scoped in an angle like that from Shiro. Like, that shot takes many, many years of experience to be able to get the timing right, the positioning right, and, well, just the peek in, the crouch peek in is just phenomenal. Absolutely deletes the AWP. And from there, Supra had a complete off angle that, for most CTs, would probably get sort of caught off guard from that. But even so, body just, what a performance.
Massive kills from body to get control out. LDLC looking real good right now on T side. There'll be a rebuy coming in from the Gambit youngsters here. The FAMASas, the AWP out for sure in particular, and the M4s across 3 players of the FAMAS enters. The nades up, the incendiaries down. Look at the sheer raining thunder. Try and force the CTs away. But this time, Gambit youngsters are going to bait in all that utility without taking any damage. They fell back immediately as they put their utility out. So, no kills from the early aggression. LDLC. Playback passive with smokes coming in. Nades up to do even more damage to return. Body will tank one to the face. But it looks like the T sort of decided here on the B-bomb site setup. Supra, edge of the smoke. The first player to contact against the hit, which is coming in right about now. They just put those smokes down towards the cross and coffins position, and here they come. Flash over. No one checks the box. They do now. Super gets only 1 frag through trouble. T-side players all around him. 1 player on top in particular. Inters comes in with 2 frags. Spray transfers to the player up top of first. In a 3-on-2 scenario, the B site is open, but Gambit youngsters have a man advantage.
And this is going to be really difficult for LDLC to hold on to it because the bomb has not even crossed into the site yet. Afro is just on 8 HP. Needs to try and get this bomb down, and even for that, they can't force any kind of a rotate back out to the A bomb side. Banana control being taken from the CT side, and they're so quick to try and retake.
Spray through from Lambert, gets into Zaxel, gets some 1, and it's all left to a 1-on-1. Afro 8 HP. AK picked up from Shiro, finds him nice and easy, and grabs that AWP as well to support. Goes to the Dragon Lore above the Azimut as well. I love that. 8 to the board of the Gambit youngsters, finally getting their start off on CT side. It has been a fair while since we've seen a good round from them, and LDLC set to respond all the same.
Unfortunately there for LDLC, it seemed like a pretty good call to go into the B bomb side, but again, there were just so many flashes out. Instas does a great job at pushing out through the CT smoke, doing a hell of a lot of damage. And Gambit youngsters just holding on, and they're able to put up their 8th round. Need to be able to find a conversion, need to find more than just 1 in a row. LDLC, you've got to think they're going to put the pressure straight back on. The aggression once again up towards Banana. This time around, though, with the mollies out for the CT side, it's actually stopped them pressing up towards a broken wall.
Flash over, Afro and Sixer take their face, and Anthony falls for it. AWP so close to landing a collateral. He doesn't get anything done with it, but Super does! 3 picks for him. Gambit youngsters resting all their defensive on 1 man as LDLC fall to a bottleneck. 3-on-2 situation. Hadji on 44. Axel does get caught off on 1, so back to evens will go.
Oh, he was checking the angle, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just changed and was looking the wrong way, the wrong direction. LDLC can play the mind games now. They've got so much time to work with. Are they going to gamble stack the A bomb site? Supra's thinking about it, yeah. It all just comes down to timing here. If Hadji can force some sort of rotation out with maybe a smoke or a flash that he has, Supra's done a great job so far. 3 kills in the round. He needs to step up again because it's looking like it's going to be a big commitment for the French.
Held back over at tree. He's kind of hoping that smoke goes down across so he can go out towards Coffins, which is the most likely smoke you put down in this context. Almost feels a little bit silly not to go for that. Supra having to consider the backstab as well from the wraparound. He's checking out the shoulder baits occasionally just in case. And now needs to focus fire. Lambert, first man across. Flashes, Molotov's coming in. Is he going to peek forward? Yes, he will, but he will get caught off not catching vision on Hadji in time. Very risky play. I think it would have been better to wait for Intis to come to him and go for the retake here, but a 1-on-2 now for this man. And he's just going to get shut down, it feels like, unless he gets some really sick shots. Hadji in particular, 44 HP. If they can take him down without any damage being done, it's be doable in a 1-on-2, but still very, very difficult even from the outset. No kit, 1 HE. If that HE down towards new box, you'll find yourself a decent chance, but time's ticking, and he's spent so much time creeping up the position right here. Might look for the exit frags at this stage, because there's just no way he's going to get this in time. Face up, sees where Hadji's at, spray through, takes him down, now gets out of dodge. Lambert may end up falling down in the midst of the side. Inter's nade up, that won't do enough damage, but Lambert still goes down, so at least that's some level of economical deficit for LDLC. Gambit youngsters, most importantly, probably not going to be able to buy up here with a full buy. They might force it to try and put the hurt now on the T side.
That's just desperation. I really don't like that play at all from Supra. They're in a 2-on-2. They just need to play together. The fact that he just runs out through that CT smoke trying to deny the bomb is just desperation. He realizes how important it is if he could deny that bomb, make it an easier opportunity to retake, but I just think that that was a play that wasn't necessary. And you can understand their point of view. They were up 6-0. They really haven't found a lot of control since then. And they know how vital it is to make an individual play. But unfortunately, it doesn't go their way. LDLC are just waiting for the pressure, waiting for the over-aggression. 13-8. LDLC, man, what a performance they're being able to put up so far on Inferno. They're certainly showing us the goods that they've got in the grand final. Really putting a quiet stance to Gambit youngsters, and they're a team that a lot of the time, if they're looking for success and they've lost 5-6 rounds in a row, they normally just take one tactical and they're back. They're mentally back in the game, but it certainly seems that they're not mentally back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it being a desperation move on that aggressive face, so kind of highlights the whole thing for me personally when it comes to Gambit youngsters and the way they played that post plant. Could have played so much better with it, but the force buy to get themselves back in, and this could also be a desperate move, but it may be their best option at this stage. They could stop the match point now. They could stop this next round and stop match point. And they could find a way back in against the T-side lineup, but LDLC playing with sheer confidence. Need to get a confident round here on the CT side for my liking to see any sort of chance. For now, the default's coming in, but out of control. A minute to go, and it does look like B site is the most likely hit.
They're just giving too much map control away. I mean, when LDLC were on the CT side, they were in their face. They were, taking banana control. They were aggressing down through mid, even getting aggressive apartment stances. And you look at Gambit youngsters, they're so deep in the sides at the moment that they're allowing easy map control to come through. Hadji's got apartments. There's a couple of players waiting out through mid, and 2 players already towards top Nana.
Utility out towards the A-bomb, so they're going to try to keep these 3 players out here, but no T-side presence felt. A counter flash coming in, the Mac 10 faces from Bully, takes out Nafi, Sweep was left alone. Drops Afro for 1, sees 2 more, gets the spray again! Another 3K spray sequence from this guy, and it's a 4 versus 2. Can he get a quadra? Lambert's peeking close, he knows he's there. Damage has been done, distraction plays are pulled, and Supra will go down, but 10 seconds to get the bomb plant. Gambit youngsters still in a position to deny from here, and they do end up dropping, but Innes gets Hadji, there's no time left. One man becomes the rock formation of the Gambit youngsters defense, and that man is Supra. What a play from him again.
I'll tell you what, he's done such a great job at this B-bomb site. 3 massive kills. He's done it twice in this second half. And that may just be the hope, because they've reset the economy from LDLC after an absolutely battering T side of only giving up Gambit Youngsters 2 rounds, including that last. They've now been reset and potentially giving double digits up. Oh, it's fast.
The nades are doing damage. Super, they're fine. Crossfire with Nafany. Spray through, and the SMG gets steps off 1, Super gets 2. Another 3K sequence. That's 3Ks in 3 rounds. Like, perfect trifectas from Gambit Youngsters, and it does lead to a 10th on the board. The 4 Spy getting decimated, and LDLC have no money left. So Gambit Youngsters now in with a serious chance to equalize against the Frenchman. 1 more round to go their way to win the rifles. After that, that's going to be a very big doorway.
And they're sort of on like a double echo, because they forced last round because they would have known they wouldn't have had money this round. So now they've got nothing. It's just Glocks across the board. LDLC, where can they find the success? They've got to be looking at the gun round. That's a great opening coming out from Body. Honestly, any damage they can do here is great stuff, because the economy is not fantastic for the CTs.
Got that bomb though right now for Gambit Youngsters. And it is, as you mentioned, no major economy basis, so any players falling is going to really hurt what they've got right now. Nade's going up, doing damage to Supra. He could be in a bit of trouble. Spray's out. Got to get out of dodge. He does end up falling down. So that's a secondary kill found by the T-side forces. They know where the bomb is. I'm surprised they haven't got more attention over on this banana position, but Shiro's making his way up. Haji. P250 standing by. The AK checking out the corner. No one there on banana. Now they've got the real weapons in check, and the 60-second clock takes by. To get Axel this position will basically secure the round from here, because there's no way now that the T's are going to get back.
And Haji getting taken down, so an 11th round goes the way of the Gambit Youngsters. Now, LDLC don't actually have enough money to go for an AWP on the back of Sixer, or potentially if Afro wanted to pick it up, but a bomb plan would have helped them get to that stance. Body would have been able to throw one over. But it's not going to happen this round. But they're half buying again? Man, they really have wrecked this economy. I'm surprised. So I'm guessing they really want the AWP out for Sixer, because they certainly had enough money to go for a full buy investment.
Yeah, that's the only real explanation I can really find here. But it won't do much for them in this next round. I mean, that allowed Gambit Youngsters to build up their own economy state, which is a little bit lopsided at the moment. They've got players on 8 grand like Axel and Shiro on 5 grand, but then they've got players as low as $50 on Supra, so certainly not fantastic. I mean, he has been one of the players going down the most often, again with his contact sprays and his simple sequences coming out on the B-bomb so defensive. Usually ends up leading to a trade, so it doesn't surprise me too much. He's standing by alongside Nafany again with his 2-man setup to the B-bomb side. They have a decent amount of utility for LDLC, so they can go for the smoke coffins and cross and flashbang into the side, which it looks like that's what they're going to do here. The flashbang coming through. Supra and Nafany here. Nafany does end up falling. Supra gets himself 2 frags, 3 kills. I don't know where that stray bullet came from, but either way, 4 on 2. Lambert and Afro, last 2 players left, and the CTs look to clean up another round.
And LDLC are just looking for a bomb plant, and they're looking for Afro to get onto the site. But unfortunately, with him and Lambert in a 2-on-4, and with that smoke starting to disappear, it's going to be difficult. Lambert, oh, the timing on Inces actually pulls his knife out rather than his gun. Now it's into a 2 versus 2, but the bomb's been dropped in the open.
Oh, he's tapping. He's blind. He almost got Shiro. Imagine if Lambert got that kill, the options that would have been open to him. But not to be here. Damage has been done to the CT side, but I imagine weapon drops will need to come through. A good play here from Supra. I see where that stray bullet landed now. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, LDLC being caught up towards the buy will still look a little bit rough. Shiro's got enough to drop an M4 to Nafany, so I don't know why they're still rocking the FAMAS there. It's a tactical for LDLC, though. They need that extra little moment to figure out how they're going to approach the rifles.
LDLC taking attack, realizing the fact, okay, you know, we've taken a few rounds to get the AWP in the hands of Sixer. We need to win this, because there's 2 ways of looking at this kind of a buy. They could have bought last round and they wouldn't have had the AWP, but now sort of half buying that and buying in the 26th, it's giving an extra round up for Gambit Youngsters. It's giving that extra little portion of confidence. So now the pressure, you'd have to think back on LDLC, the fact of, okay, you know, we've given, what, 4 rounds, 5 rounds in a row? I think it's 4 rounds in a row now to the a Russian side. We need to be able to capitalize on a win, and it's got to be now.
Here they come out to the banana challenge, utility back and forth. Molotov on 2 players, they could burn alive. Lambert will get Nafi, they have no idea there's another player out here. AWP, is he gonna fire? Ooh. He does, and does damage to 2 as well. I think it was a collat tag on Sixer and Body. But it doesn't take either player down. Axel makes the face, awkward spray against Afro, and LDLC finding the angles they need. Enters last player on the A bomb site. Molotov towards the pit position, further than the utility out. He's going to have sandwiched in by the apartment player as well. Afro lines up, Lambert goes low, but he does take the frag back for it. Insurance Super have to save. What an entrance from LDLC. What a 14th at the side.
What a strat. So what we see there from LDLC, they put the pressure up towards the top banana. They go very aggressive. They use their utility incredibly well. They find the opening kill, and then they just back off. They don't continue the challenge out through the B bomb side. They wrap around to A. We've seen the rotations coming through, and there's only a single player to that A bomb site. A fantastic opening coming through. A lot of pace, a lot of aggression, and they're going to find their 14th. Now, the money will allow Gambit youngsters to buy back. Axel's got enough money to go for the double AWP setup if they want. They're not a team that run double AWPs all too often unless things really aren't going their way, which could offer the opportunity to go for it. But you've got to think, Shiro drops an M4, Axel drops an M4.
It makes sense at this stage. Enough rifles out for the CT camp to contest. Obviously, the AWP be there for Shiro. Got to get some sort of impact with it, though. And again, they've got to try and fend off the sheer fast, aggressive pace of the LDLC camp. Straight into mid and out to the banana area. Molotov's lining the top mid area in general. And nades up to do some damage. Nafi with a spray takes out Sixer. That's a start. Burst fire onto the left-hand side, hoping to catch another player off guard, but they will not be able to follow up. Neither will LDLC be able to return. Gambit youngsters' aggression goes well, and they back up passive for it.
And finally, they take some control on this CT side. Gambit youngsters have been so deep in the sides. They've taken the banana control. They've found that opening man advantage. They've just got a single player jump spotting to rotate that 4th player to A. But Super was able to get a bit of information. He saw at least 2 players. So there is that potential of rotating a 2nd player back to B. But they're quite found on just keeping 4 players here.
Nafi gonna get a 2nd kill of the round, nice and easy there on the simple face. They do wrap 1 player back to the B bomb site though. Expecting there to be potentially another B hit that's been very successful for LDLC over the course of this half. Seen a lot of B commitments, but Haji walking straight out to the A bomb site, going to sow the seeds of chaos. Takes out Inters and Axel, waiting back over at the balcony. 1 player towards long. That's Nafi again looking for his quadra. He might just find it as well. Going to let them cross, and he drops. Haji takes face. He's walked onto A bomb site and single-handedly turned the man advantage to the T side. Shiro's out of there. It's going to be map point for LDLC.
I can just imagine some sort of Russian comms like, what the hell's going on here, boys? Like, what? Like, what is Haji doing? Like, honestly, like, let's just think about that for a minute. He doesn't have any teammates with him. He runs through a CT-sided incendiary into the bomb site, takes down the player towards default, then stays around, wide swings onto the apartments. Like, what? Like, I just don't understand the thought process at all. But it wins them the round, and that's certainly a thing that we've noticed from LDLC of the course of this entire map, is that it's just so damn aggressive at all moments.
Man, how far this map has gotten away from Gambit youngsters. And they should have had that round. By all extents, that should have been theirs.
Yeah.
I have no idea, truly no idea, how Haji was allowed to walk into the A bomb site, do as much damage as he did. That's essentially what he did. There was no flash support, no smoke support, just walks up,
teammates, nothing.
get the frags, get the follow-up. He got back up in the end, but that was after he cleared out the site in the balcony. So I don't know what to say to that one. Gambit youngsters really in a pickle as a result of this. This buy needs to go so far for not just in this round, but to go 3 more to overtime. And they are holding up against a passive LDLC this time.
And now the Frenchmen have decided to slow it down a little bit, not really get in their face of the opponents, allowing them to not take banana control as quickly as they normally do. Even so, Afro's just slowly been able to walk up to the broken wall, but this is going to be a lurk setup because he's actually not going to ask for any kind of assistance or any kind of a teammates. He's taken a lot of control towards the top of banana, but he doesn't need support at this point. They can focus on the A bomb site.
2 players standing to defend against it.
Ooh, not a good read.
There. Yeah, they are stacking out that B bomb site thanks to the luck of Afro. Inters is considering a rotation. Sure is seeing some utility out to that short position. And now they're starting to make their way in here for LDLC. Smoke up from Body might set up the long control. Afro's taking contact and a smoke will come down from the CTs. Crossing back out position. The smoke coming back in from Shiro. 35 seconds to hit the third man has joined them from passive control here at Arch, expecting a wraparound, expecting some sort of fancy play from LDLC, but this might be a straight execution split from short and long. Maze on, damage done, not to Sixer actually, he evades that HG, and now further HG's coming from the long position. Shiro's got to turn back around and try and cover off his teammates. Good shot for one man, but actually goes falling in trade. Haji doubles up as Afro goes trading, 3-on-3, 10 seconds, the bomb plant can be secured. It's a retake mode for Gambit, they need to make this work.
That's going to be a really tough retake. 2 players in mini pit. So Haji's going to play a bait setup. Six is going to start firing with the AWP around mini pit. They're never going to expect Haji to be here. This is actually a massive play to come out from LDLC.
Might be everything. Holding face for Nafani, moving forward here. Lambert crossing fire, 20 seconds to the clock now. Super and Nafani make their way out. Backs turn, Spray lines up. Super against 1 versus 2 now. Spray back on Sixer, doubles up. No idea where Haji is. Haji's just got away, and Bait is the pump planted for him. No, they can stick it. Got to turn back around. No, he takes his fight. And Haji gets a 3K to win the round and the map for LDLC, 16-12. And again, it looks so good from Gambit. They held pretty decent scorelines in the end, but just what happened to their confidence from the beginning?
Yeah, look, it certainly seemed like it disappeared really quickly, and that's certainly not a great sign in a grand final that you can just lose a lot of confidence. They almost changed their playstyle a lot, but I don't really want to say that LDLC were playing puggish, but they were. You know, it was just a very unique style. It was not how we normally see tier 2 teams playing at this kind of a level. Normally, it's pretty slow, it's methodical, it's taking your time using the utility. No, you just get Haji running through a Molotov and clearing out a bomb site. Like, it's stuff that, for Gambit youngsters, they'll be pretty pissed off against because you hate playing teams like that because it's not normal Counter-Strike at all. And for LDLC, look, it worked. So I'm not going to challenge them at all saying, oh, you need to play differently, because it worked and they put up a really great scoreline on Inferno.
It's just so weird, to be honest. You don't expect to see stuff like that. Like, there was no counter action there from the Gambit youngsters, and you expect a team like that to be able to counter what you're talking about with, like, those Haji style players. It's very, very weird to me, and I wasn't expecting that at all. But in the end, it works better for LDLC, as you mentioned. If it works, what's the complaint there? And for them taking their map pick when Gambit youngsters for a little bit felt like they were going to storm their way through and take a confident 2-0. It's been the first map that LDLC have won against the Russian side before.
Yeah, and look, I think it came down to a lot of individuals. I mean, Body in particular, man, he was really hitting some nice shots. And it seemed like for LDLC, the double AWPs came out really nicely. We saw Sixer and Afro picking up those double AWPs. They were playing with a lot of confidence. Body was firing up. Haji was doing ridiculous stuff. And for Gambit youngsters, you had Shiro and Axel that performed at a very high level for the first 6 rounds. Where were they for the rest of that first half? They really didn't come up. Even in the second half, we saw some low numbers for players that should be a lot higher. Super kept them in the game, having like 4 triple kills at B. Outside of that, we really didn't see a lot from Gambit youngsters after that momentum and control was taken away from them.
Absolutely. I think there's definitely let it slip at certain points, but of course that is their opponent's map pick, so it can be forgivable. What would be unforgivable, though, is for them to lose on Vertigo. It is their map pick. It is a big weakness for LDLC. So we'll go to a break and see whether they can turn us to our third map after this, so do not go anywhere. It's Gambit youngsters' map pick here in the grand finals.
shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best pickle fights I've been to.
Welcome back to Malta Vibes. Welcome back to our grand finals between LDLC and GAMBIT youngsters. If you're just tuning in, you missed out the 16-12 victory that LDLC just took on their map pick of Inferno. Did look for a minute like the GAMBIT youngsters were going to be able to take it, but in the end, a big choke came through on the second half, which is what leads us here to Vertigo, our second map of the best of three. It was picked by the GAMBIT side, so there at least is that much going their way. But we've noticed some underperformances from several players and several standout players, most especially over on that GAMBIT side. So talk me through this one real quick. Is this going to be a main issue going into our second map?
I certainly don't think so. And the reason for that is I certainly feel as if the way that LDLC played on Inferno is going to be very difficult to replicate going into Vertigo. Vertigo's not a map that you can be very aggressive on. Yeah, maybe on the T side you can get ramp control relatively easy and over towards the B stairs on the CT side, but it's very different that we saw them super aggressive on CT. Like they were fighting down Banana, they were fighting down mid out through apartments. Can't really do that on a map like Vertigo. So I certainly think for GAMBIT youngsters coming into it, if they can force LDLC to play a slightly different play style than what we saw in that first map, they're going to have a bit more of a comfortable time. And if they're having a bit more of a comfortable time, you'll see the Star Fraggers start to perform.
Absolutely, and we've seen, we talked a little bit about LDLC not having the greatest of maps here over on Vertigo. They were on a losing streak of about 8 maps prior to their Fate series earlier on in the group stage. So they've already had like a lot of, I don't want to say inexperience, but I guess it is kind of the way you go about it, just sort of like a general sort of just not able to play this map in general. And you talked about it during the veto phase, just saying, hey, GAMBIT youngsters definitely picked a weakness as opposed to a strength. So for LDLC, I feel like there's going to be some fundamental struggles over on their part of things, and it could work out well to the GAMBIT youngsters side, especially if we see them getting swinging on that T side. Now, the T side is the thing that I really want to focus on here for GAMBIT youngsters, because they look damn impressive. They looked damn impressive when they had their T side rolling over on Inferno, and if they can keep that momentum going into the T side of Vertigo, then LDLC won't stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and you would certainly think that, right? Like most people would expect that, because again, it's a map that we haven't seen the greatest results on from LDLC. And when GAMBIT youngsters play with confidence, when they play with momentum, they really do look really great. They can sometimes even, I don't want to say push for a tier 1 team yet, but they're certainly getting into a position where you think towards the end of this year, they're probably looking at that spot. They're in the top 30 on HLTV. They pretty much wreck all of the tier 2 teams at the moment. Yeah, look, sometimes they have some struggles here and there, but on a consistent basis this year they've looked really great. So I certainly don't think like pressure and things like that is going to be a big sort of element going into a grand final. Yeah, we didn't see the greatest performances there on Inferno, but going into Vertigo, they need to play with confidence. They need to play with their strengths in their hands, and I certainly think they should be able to do it. But on the other hand, for LDLC, if they can even just get into their heads, get into the mindset of like, oh, we're pushing everywhere, we're playing this puggish style, we got off to a good start, then we may be able to see the youngsters start to crumble on this map.
Absolutely. I think the LDLC needs to come into this with certainly the mindset that they had at the end of the last map, but the confidence they had at the end of the last map as well. We saw how hyper aggressive they wanted to get, with Hadju just peeking into bomb sites on his lonesome and confidently getting the kills. If they can do more of that, then I see LDLC being able to do something here. But again, my concern seems to be the fundamentals of this map. And that's the one thing that drags a lot of teams down when they compete on Vertigo and they don't know what they're doing. Is the fundamentals are not there. They don't know how to play T-side. They struggle on the CT defensive. And meanwhile, the opponents just pick them apart with simple opening kills. They know all the boosts, they know all the common angles, they know all the common spots, and therefore LDLC just can't quite seem to mount up to those peaks and prods. And for GAMBIT youngsters, it feels to me like, yeah, they won't know all of those, but they'll certainly have a lot more of a better basis compared to what LDLC have been able to do. Again, to highlight the losses that LDLC took, they took on some major players, but also some not so great players. They lost 16-6 against Nexus, 16-12 against Ultimate Attacks, 16-3 against Pact, and the most infamous sort of result was a 16-14 loss to Sinners, who are a team from the Czech Republic who, aren't really known here in the tier 2 scene. Versus the victories that GAMBIT youngsters have taken about Singularity, Aves, Virtus Pro, and Amiga, Harvu went close against Complexity, beat North 16-14, and I think they've even had like an endpoint result in there somewhere that must have been like obscurely sort of hidden away, which obviously against endpoint on this map is a massive sort of as a massive thing to boast. So, again, GAMBIT youngsters not the greatest team in the world on this map, but I think they're certainly better than LDLC at the moment.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you say that LDLC going into this map are looking like they're going to 2-0, at least looking confident to 2-0, you got to be kidding yourself, because you can't sleep on the GAMBIT youngsters. They've put up some really great results against some top teams on this map, and we cast a lot of vertigo in this tier 2 scene. We look at Endpoint, we look at Alternate Attacks, we look at XCOM AGO, and we look at GAMBIT youngsters as being some really solid teams on this map. So, look, going forward, I certainly think they're going to be able to play with a lot more confidence. They need to just brush away that first map, because yeah, look, they look decent. They didn't look great, but they need to come in with a fresh attitude, a fresh mindset. And if they can do that, I think we've got a serious best 3 on our hands here.
They do get the 2-0 then. It was certainly a bit better than the potential upsets that we've seen from Lingby Vikings and Onoris over the course of the group stage. So don't hold your breath on that one, but the knife round is going live for our map. I've, of course, reminded to you all that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Let's get into predictions of this one. Dwayne, how far are you thinking this map is going to go?
You know what, I'm going to give them double digits. I still think the LDLC could put up a pretty good fight on this map if they can get off to a good start. But for GAMBIT youngsters, if they can stay into some control, if they can get off to a good start, then I should see them maybe not easily, but taking us to a third map.
I don't know about the double digits thing. I think personally it's going to be a bit more of a confident affair from GAMBIT youngsters, especially if they get their choice of sides. Oh, actually going to be LDLC there. So if they can't get the double digits on the first half, then for me, I think we're going to be in a bit of a pickle, and we might see GAMBIT youngsters taking a confident second map here as we go to the third one. And that's where things will get a little bit scary for LDLC when it comes to precedence, but for now, it's probably going to be a victory the GAMBIT youngsters take on this one. Looking towards our pistol round to get things started off here officially in our map up. It's GAMBIT youngsters over on the CT start, LDLC with the T side start. As you would expect for most teams, they get their choice of side here on this map. Now we look to our odds, of course, from our partners at LootBet, and yeah, they are on the same sort of hype train as us. Definitely expecting GAMBIT youngsters to take this map, and of course, if you do want to get involved with Malta Vibes, the best way is via placing a bet over on LootBet. 10 free CSGO spins, up to €100 bonus deposit if you click the banner under the Switch channel. Let's get started. Double flash and diffuse for Anthony, utility for Lambert and Afro. 2 smokes of flash and a molly between them. I believe there may be a P250 in play indeed. It's dropped out to body the raid boss here for LDLC, taking first face out to the B stairs, hoping to get an opening kill, but just trading damage back and forth and coming out worse for wear for it.
There is a player of Axel towards that quad position that wasn't seen from body, trying to make a better presence over to that B bomb side. And straight away, we're seeing characteristics being shown in from the last map being brought in. The aggression to start things off, even for Sixer, trying to take a duel round the corner, but it's going to be the opening kill going the way of Supra.
Shiro following suit on Hadji to 5 versus 3. Now GAMBIT youngsters holding control on CT side. Shiro backed up to the bomb side as LDLC smoke on, going to smoke up cross and the main area as well. Molotov's out, flashes over, evaded by the T-side player, CT-side players on the back line, so just damage being done. Lambert and Co are going to stay alive. The bomb plant to be secured. Very out in the open. Super gets body through the smoke, but they do secure a bomb plant for this, so something out for LDLC. Lambert's going to press quite far forward, but he ends up going down, so it's all left to Afro. 1 on 5, only 1 casualty sustained in the post-trade, so Nathany close it out, get the defuse in for the CT side. GAMBIT youngsters, we can see the bomb plant, but they get the pistol round.
And looking pretty good for GAMBIT youngsters. We saw the aggression coming out towards the B stairs to start the round off. They weren't able to find an opening kill for LDLC, so they started to make their way up through ramp. Sixer had a good opportunity of trying to find and force an opening kill, but from there, the Pistols found a couple of openings. They fell back quite passive on the side. Yeah, they did allow the bomb plant to go down, which is going to allow a buy-up investment to go through into round number 2. But for GAMBIT youngsters, they took it very calmly. They said, you know what, doesn't even matter if they get that bomb down. We're just focusing on winning out the round.
LDLC straight out with the force buy here on this one. Not surprising, their buy strategy is pretty aggressive. Initial part of the rounds, or the part of the halves at least. Contact taken, damage done to body and Afro. Super takes some back for the CT side, but a lot less by comparison. It's Axel first to fall as body opens things up for LDLC. Frag found towards the B stairs, and the Deagle of Afro facing him to do a little bit more. LDLC gaining the man advantage, and GAMBIT youngsters going to go a bit more passive as a result of this. Super probably going to fall back out of ramp here in a moment's time.
Hey, still staying quite aggressively out through ramp and could potentially get punished if the timing works out for Hadji trying to push this smoke. Has been seen. Super is still waiting around, but now Body wants to try and hunt him down, and Super should have backed off ages ago, and he's just going to get hunted, but he does find a kill to at least answer back in a 4-on-4.
So M4A1S, Infamous on the Inferno B bomb site, now trying to get Infamous here on Vertigo's A. Hadji will shut him down though, 4-on-2. SMG from Nafni is making his way up. Did Lambert hear it? I think he did. Face up. UMP gets that kill. Low HP right around the corner. Afro going to be dealt with towards the back line. Hadji goes falling as well, and Sixer left alone. Deagle in hand, missing his first shot. Can't quite connect to second either. The kill on Nafani, going to make his way in from the ramp area. Sixer, if he takes face and takes him down, he's going to put a mass amount of pressure on Inters. AK moving up, being spotted out. He doesn't see him, but he does get the frag. So the defuse gets stopped by Inters, and will be 2-0 up for Gambit Youngsters.
And you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if they force again with that bomb plant. They're able to get a few kills. They're keeping the economy relatively low. That's a really sort of strong opening to that round from LDLC. We saw some really great entries. It was just this retake. Nafani in particular did a really great job of being able to work together with his teammate and establish that crossfire being set between the two players. That's not quite going to be a force buy. It's just going to be a half-buy investment. And certainly understand why they want to try and get the rifles up into the following round. But 2-0 up, straight away, Shiro says, you know what? I want this up, boys.
Straight up, Axel will drop the first man here for the Gambit Youngsters side. Nadon do even more damage to the teams. They'll get away from it, but still sprays onto a secondary kill. Knows he's being flanked, so got to get back out of dodge. Still faces towards the B-stairs entrances, so doing quite the amount of damage, taking very little in return by comparison. Nafri on the back lines as well, moving in with the SMG, getting himself a pick and two. Axel closes out on Sixer as well, so money gain for the SMG frags. The Gambit Youngsters 3-0 up, cleaning up what LDLC have to work with, and now go up to the bye.
And you've got a thing for LDLC. Work with the individuals on this T side. We've seen Body being able to find a couple of entries out towards the B stairs. They've got that AWP to work with from Sixer, but what they really need to try to be forcing in the issue, especially in this first half, is opening picks. They found a lot of success with that on the T side of Inferno. They need to be able to follow up now going on to a map like Vertigo. And Gambit Youngsters, even with Nafani not forcing up that MP9 for a M4, so not the strongest of weapon as an SMG still out in the playing field.
Rogues up, Afro. Close up in the scaffolding, trying to jump up and take face. A passive tight angle to take Nafani. No, I didn't expect him. Maybe I burst into the headshot and get that much of a frag. Afro going to face up, take his kill, take an opener now for the T side, but there's so little presence towards his ramp position, they might not commit off the back of this here.
It might just take them a little bit longer, but at least they're falling away from the B stairs. But for Gambit Youngsters, we may see a little bit of aggression coming out from them to see if they can at least get a little bit of information. Now they know the AWP's here out towards alley, so that gives them a bit more of an indication that it should really be an A play. Two players here with potentially a quick third rotator in, out through that mid position of Inters.
Okay, turns that corner, perfect flash in from Shira, blinding off all the support, and Afro, no idea he was going down till it was too late. 30 seconds to the hit. Teams need to make their way out soon. Well, the flash is over. Super taking AK out towards that corner. Hadji going to spray through against the common spray angles. We take that face, then we won't. Flashbang's evaded. So many players to line up. If a Super probably ends up getting tagged up and taken out by Lambert. Nailed onto into position will do him for 68. Bomb plant to be secured. Shiro going to try to flip back on Body, but can't take him down at the end of the boxes. And Sixer makes his way out from ramp at the right time. Two players standing now for the T side. And Shiro will fall next, leaving it all to Axel. Takes out Lambert, but a 1-on-3 for this guy to hold contention. Incendiary smoke down on the bomb site. No, Sixer takes him out before we can even get there. So nice and efficient there from LDLC. First coming back on the T side board.
Oh, what a round coming out from LDLC, and all that really comes down to is they get a fantastic opening pick. We see Afro being able to find the opener out through alley. From there, they slow the clock down. Gambit Youngsters do a really great job of getting into the site. They try and at least deny that bomb from going down, but the trades come out incredibly quickly. First round on the board going the way of the French side, looking to get a bit of momentum going forward now they've got the rifles out. Gambit youngsters. No real aggression coming out in Afro again. Man, this guy over towards ramp is doing so much work.
One of the standout elements of LDLC, that much is for certain in my opinion. Looks so good as LDLC have held their own off. 9 HP Finn though, he can't have much more impact in this round unless they can insert himself in the chaos and sneak away a headshot. And the rest of the T side to enable that though. Better for them to take face. A minute and 10. AWP here, Shiro seeing one of it in the flashbang, unable to connect on Lambert. Molotov's up, nades on, 60 seconds to the hit, and the nade set up by Shiro is going to get taken away by Afro. Quick headshot coming out at 5-on-3 now, and somehow finding a second pick on 9 HP. Smoke down from Axel back at quad into standing by the main cross. Haji and Afro line up for 2 simple picks on for Mars, getting 3. Axel M4 turns on a 6er, and he doubles up as well. Coordinated effort from those 2 players, shutting down the hit from LDLC when things were looking so damn good.
And I think they got baited out there. They had, what, a 5-on-3 advantage. They had some great opening kills from Afro, but when the re-smokes came down on the city side, they kept just trying to fight rather than just waiting. They had 50 or 46 seconds on the clock. They had so much time to work with to go for a double pump hit, but instead they got baited out. The crossfire was set, and that's a very strong hold at that B bomb side. LDLC are going to be kicking themselves losing that.
Gambit youngsters, much better buy, seeing the force out coming in from the T side. Nafany going to escape out of the alley entrance, and certainly was looking for an aggressive face on ramp. If he found all those players, that would have been great. Taking nades back of his own right further. Incendiary's coming in. Super back over for the sandbags. Do you see Afro? I don't think he did. Body's not going to check it though. No Molotov that can pop to this position, and he goes down for it. Smoke at the ready as Nafany starts taking his face in. Will get caught off guard by Haji. Double dink by the Mac 10. The smoke comes in from Supra. Holding face, getting a much more advanced angle. Taking or trying to take out Afro. Afro takes him down instead. 4-on-3 situation. Shiro getting out of dodge here in the midst of the site and covered off by smokes alone. LDLC though, considering a wraparound back to the B bomb site here.
Axel's already pushed forward. As soon as he goes down, they'll know B's open. Oh, so much damage. They can hit B really quickly now because that's the B player getting aggressive, and that's actually going to force Shiro away. So it just comes down to the mind games here because Instas now is going to be alone at this A bomb site, and he's going to have 4 players to deal with.
I have a pretty good idea where he's holding from as well. He's done this angle throughout the entire half so far. 20 seconds to the hit in the M4. Better focus on denying that bomb plant. His teammate will stay alive. Shiro will get to the site and out. Smokes come up. He gets face spray through blind, doing damage. Not getting the kills though, and Lambert gets the safety now. So he looks at the bomb plant. M4 faced. Afro takes him down. Shiro responds now in a 1 versus 4. See the second man. Can't transfer off towards Haji though on the rat position. So LDLC will find a second round, and the T side spawning up now. The Frenchmen starting to look good.
Yeah, they really are. They're looking incredibly solid. And once again, it's not the same amount of pacing that we saw on Inferno, but especially those hits onto the side. Once that utility comes out, we're seeing the swings coming out, the raw aim ability. And even LDLC are going to take a tactical pause. You may have thought that it would have been Gambit youngsters opting to have a bit of a moment to kind of gather their thoughts, but no, it's going to be the Frenchmen. And this could be the opportunity to really claw back this T side, because you look, they're 2 rounds down, they're up against a force buy, they win out this, they go 3 up, they're against an eco, they go 4 up, they tie us up, goes into the mental game. So this is a really big round for LDLC to now convert.
I can sympathize with the decision here to take a pause for LDLC. Like, it makes sense to a certain extent. Like, they have struggled. Yeah. Like, they have struggled over the course of this half, and they have struggled over the course of the T side. So would ideally need a great little sort of like a moment's respite to reset the momentum, reset the mindset, and try and find a different way to approach this. Makes sense to me here. 4-2 scoreline, and the eco, the force buy coming in from Gambit youngsters, mostly pistols out for this CT side, with the FAMAS and the scout being in play for Gambit youngsters. Those are the main 2 weapons to work with. They've got a lot of mid-presence, and they've read this particularly well, actually, against LDLC. They can face an aggression down towards the A-bomb site. Passive positions over on B. waiting to find whatever they can here with 1:25. Molotov's out, Nade standing by for Shiro, enters with the Deagle in check. Flashes over, Lambert and Six are ready to make their way out, but Nade's going to suppress them. It all comes to these opening engagements. Afro gets one, enters, responds, Deagle out of Shiro, also gets dropped. So 4-on-3 for LDLC.
Afro in particular is doing just such a great job at this A bomb site. He's finding picks pretty much every round. Yeah, he's not finding 2 or 3 kills in the round, but he's finding opening advantages and ways to take map control into this ramp presence. Super is going to be the only one here. Oh, that nade does so much damage, and that forces him to play more passive on the site.
Another kill going away, the T side 4-on-2 now. Supra. Scout's got to get more passive in this case with the FAMAS standing by for Axel. Over on the B bomb site, the most powerful weapon they have in check, and it's very likely he'll be forced to save as the A site execution is set to come through. And we've seen them play A so many times here at LDLC. Like, they've been going towards the A site efficiently and effectively. The one time they hit B, obviously GAMBIT Youngsters shut them down, so they haven't really leaned towards it since. The Scout desperate to get frags, unable to do anything. Axel left alone with his FAMAS. Playing close, they're going to get some exit frag damage, but no, Afro just drops him. 3 picks for this guy, and he is looking fantastic. 10 kills in 8 rounds. That is a pretty damn good line.
And this is his first professional team. He's really showing up at an incredible level. But showing up, what about our great sponsors of Hellcase, Jay? They are offering our fantastic viewers at home 2 codes to use on their website to open up some cases. Malta V and Malta V15. A 15% refill bonus and a little bit of credit in your account. GAMBIT Youngsters, maybe not the easiest time in the world at the moment on this CT side.
No, absolutely not. Again, I can sympathize, but it is a CT side. So at the end of the day, it isn't the worst position to be at in the world. They have a lot more issues than, you know, losing on CT side. The losing on T side is where things will get really, really suspect. But that's not happening at this moment in time. Right now, we're in a very good spot here for LDLC with an eco to turn the evens on GAMBIT Youngsters. You will have the rifles in the next round to respond. Massive amount of CT players coming in against Lambert, and they will drop him. Hadji could also end up falling down here. He does get overwhelmed. So 3-on-3, they've dropped 2 rifles. If they pick those up, they can basically just walk away with a pretty successful eco.
Yeah, it's just looking pretty good so far. 2 AKs being picked up, not bad. And you've got to think that they probably won't go for the retake because bringing those AKs into the next round can certainly be a big bonus. And certainly, I mean, I've been very critical for Afro over the course of the Malta vibe so far. You know, he's really, stat-wise, has not been able to put up the most impressive numbers. But from what I've seen from him in this grand final, it seems like when he's needed and, you know, when they need him to perform, he's there. He plays his role really nicely. He's a great entry fragger. Doing a lot at the moment, and it's really good to see. Because you've got to think that for this LDLC side, yeah, you've got some veteran players, but you've also got some names like Lambert and Afro in particular who haven't had massive careers. This is a grand final for 25,000 USD and a boot camp in Malta. I mean, there's a lot lying on this matchup.
You can imagine LDLC would benefit massively from the boot camp.
Can you imagine?
You know, like,
yeah.
These guys being on a rise, taking confidence series out in the playoffs positions, you know, having the big upset, I feel like, at the group stage.
For sure.
Imagining a really good chance right here if they can take control. GAMBIT Youngsters themselves also with a lot of potential if they can get a boot camp in. So, you know, good positions all around for the winner of this series. A lot riding on it. LDLC. Right now, they are in control, but a response from GAMBIT Youngsters could still come through again. 2 AK saved on the back of that last round eco. Shiro completely glass cannon orb. He spent all his money on that big green gun. Is already going to get naded out of 63 HP for it. Got to get support from his teammates. Needs this opening kill. He lands it on body, but now's the time to fall back here.
Yeah, certainly. Make sure you hold on to that man advantage. They've got a lot of information. There's 3 players here on the city side defending this A bomb side. They've seen so many spams coming through that they can say at least 2 or 3 players are here at ramp, and even Afro just getting pop flashed through the alley smoke, not being successful. This is a great shutdown coming out from GAMBIT Youngsters. Hadji, oh, he's just getting spammed. He's so low.
He gets the kill on that free though. The spray's not quite as confident there from the CT player. Shiro and Super left alone here on the B-bombs, on the A-bomb site. Indians make its way out the spray. It's awkward from 6 all the same, so Haji's left alone here. 1-on-4 situation. Bomb being dropped in the open. Gambit Youngsters have the crossfire set from all 4 of the remaining players. And Haji just left to kind of chill back here and try and find a new way to work into things. This will be a 5th for Gambit Youngsters. Best to save the AK at this stage for this man.
Yeah, you've got to think that's the right call here from Haji. Not really much he can do. He's got so many players. The bomb just in the open. They're just waiting for an overextension. Looks like he actually still wants to try and go for this. See if he can get a bomb plant. Even that's going to be so difficult. Oh, it's a fake. Nah, unlucky. Good try. Nice try.
I think he went for the safe plant, then it would have worked better for them because it means they would have bolstered the buy up here, and then this reinvestment won't look as awkward for LDLC.
Yeah, that's true.
Galil coming out for Lambert immediately, you know, like if he got that extra little bit of money, then he wouldn't have to worry about that. He would have seen AKs across the board. Maybe even an AWP justified on 6 is fine. Yeah. Be able to do so, but the extra utility would have been nice. But yeah, a couple of limitations here and there, and again, it doesn't have to be necessary, I feel.
And going into round 10, LDLC know how important this is to be able to open up that round. It's a right side generator smoke being lined up from Sixer with that orb. And Body showing a bit of presence out towards ramp. Now, these are actually, it looks like a B-side execution. This is going to be quick from the Frenchman.
Very fast indeed. Flash's utility coming out, smokes down, Molotovs out. And Axel towards quad will do longer damage, but unable to get the kills. Inta's here, lining up the spray on 1, and low HP Haji still gets the frag on the high HP member. 4-on-3 situation. He's on 3 HP though. Fake plants once. Nafrima swings out, takes out Afro, looks the Body. Next up in the default position, Haji seen as well. Nafri gets that 2K. Body making his way around the corner, spots out Shiro, takes him down. Does not see Nafri make his way out towards the other side. He ends up falling, leaving at the 6-0. AWP. Back line on towards White, missing his shot on the first round. Refaces, flick, lands a tag, no kill though. And the smokers on the site, they're going to try and set the defuse. Nafri instead gets the headshot, and Gambit Youngsters come out with 6 on CT side.
And it almost felt like LDLC panicked there in that post plant. We saw Haji, you know, in an angle where he was on top of the orange boxes, or at least looking for a sight line. Rather than playing passive in the site and holding on to the post plant in the 3-on-3, they looked and had intent in trying to fight. And unfortunately for Gambit Youngsters, they were more ready. They were in the right positions to deal with the overextensions. And the money line's so awkward now from LDLC. You look at the scoreboard and you think, okay, 6-4, it's relatively close. But now you're looking at 7-4. The pressure's going to go back on the French side. I certainly think that they're going to struggle to even find 5 or 6 rounds on this T side.
No, absolutely. Yeah, tough bit of last here for LDLC, especially as the CTs continue building up their rounds, and with the eco coming through for the T side, it makes a whole lot of sense. The Gambit Youngsters should be able to win out this one. The Eagles trying to face in, do some damage, but missing out on Inter. Shiro will take 6 down for it. Nafani goes forward to Haji. All right, that's one good frag, but there's Shiro there with even more picks, finding Haji next up, facing against Lambert, seeing him, tagging him up, not taking him down. The B-Duty should be enough for that one frag. Body does end up dropping him though, so the damage has been sustained on several CT players, but Orb stays in, so do 2 more rifles. And now the rebate comes in from LDLC.
And you've got to think pacing. It's got to be pacing. That's where they're finding their openings. You look at all the rounds that they've found success. It's Afro finding an opening pick out through a ramp, or aggression out towards the B stairs. And well, Gambit Youngsters actually taking a bit of a tactical here. Interesting. Even though that they're in a really great position, things are going their way, they're looking a lot more comfortable. Maybe they're sort of thinking, okay, you know, we win this out, we put the pressure on, we get to 10 rounds, 11 rounds maybe. It's certainly great that they've come out of the gate on their own map pick, being able to put up a pretty good performance so far, because I was worried that they may have been shut down mentally from Inferno, but it seems like they've come into a really fresh attitude and a fresh mindset, and it's certainly showing on the server.
Gambit Youngsters were not the expected victors in that last map. In this one, they can play a little bit more confident around it. AK straight up from Super, dropping that bomb. 2 more players there. Blind up with a flashbang though. Couldn't get a frags, and Body and Haji will enter straight into the A bomb site. Well placed on the utility, and that's basically what won them the round. Gamma Youngsters could not contest, and Inters will do his best to hold the final line, but it's not going to happen. Axel left alone at 1 versus 4. This is an easy round for LDLC.
Just got rushed. All the T-side did was throw a couple of flashbangs, hold W, and get entries. That's all that round really was. That was a complete rush to the A bomb side. They overwhelmed the CTs. There were so many players on the Gambit Youngsters side that were just so blind, could not see anything. And Body, 3 huge kills on the entry. They pick up the AWP from Shiro to chuck it over to Sixer in the following round. And that's almost like when Vertigo first came out, Jay. Just rushes to that A bomb site. That was so quick.
I mean, there's more like rushes and defaults to the A bomb site, so, you know, like, there's a little bit of a combination of both. Either way, it's worked pretty well for LDLC. They get a couple of X's here for Axel, so he'll keep the economy state limited. Still quite a bit of cash to work with, but it might cause a couple of issues over on the T-side reinvestment. The Orb staying in for Body at least gives a couple of options here. They can drop some AKs. Lost to Afra in particular, who may be the man to need it. Yeah, they do get most of the main weaponry out, but you can see how tagged up that money line's going to be. So a good round from Gambit Youngsters, despite being limited by an SMG, does still mean that they can take back control of this matchup. LDLC playing passive as a result of this. They know that Gambit Youngsters can spell blood in the water. Shut down the aggression with passiveness may be their best call.
Oh, Afro's just trying to work on the edge of this smoke, see if he can just catch off a pixel from Supra. He certainly hears him. He knows that he's there, but he's just seeing if he can find an opening pick. Supra didn't see him? How has Supra still not seen him? Okay, must have seen him now.
Nade up against him, he still takes aggressive face. Hoping to get something out of this one, but it's not going to happen. He's not the first to fall though. That honors goes to Inters, and Nafany burning alive here at the sandbags at this stack area. Shiro flashed out looking for an angle in the cross. Also Nafany there for the crossfire set, but a 5-on-4. Very slow play from LDLC, putting all this utility to mid and then just backing off to go towards another A play.
Gambit Youngsters not really playing anyone aggressive at A, rather like around the sandbags or sort of close to the alley or crane position. They're quite passive, but they have brought players in. There's now a triple man setup at this A bomb site, only leaving a single defender at B of Axel. And Shiro, he's heard a lot of information. This could be the opportunity if he swings out. Now he's got to try and fight, but he gets taken down.
5-on-3 now. Nafany, Supra, low HP. LDLC, another good storm into the A bomb site could work well enough to get them a 6th easy round. Body makes his way out, sees where Supra is, drops him. Low HP for Nafany, so close, 1 point of health to do something out here. He denies Shafro, but Sixer takes that final kill. So in the midst of the chaos, it is LDLC up with the advantage, and now looking to close in on the Gambit Youngsters lead with no money to buy up here. Looks like an eco may be given that chance.
And we saw LDLC playing this map in the quarterfinals against Illumina, who were the victors, the grand final winners in Group 3. They put 7 rounds on the T side and 8 rounds on CT to win it out in OT in the end. So we've seen them play it only yesterday. And this is turning out to be a very, very close scoreline. We should be tied up at 7 rounds each. LDLC, a couple rounds in a row, trying to make it a third.
USP out here doing some damage to Afro. He does end up falling down in the end of the stack up. The AWP of Sixer could also drop next. That's damage being done. Haji struggling to hold on here, and he ends up dropping the bomb as well. I don't think Shiro can recover from this, although if he gets the headshot, that'd be fantastic. Couldn't get Body in the end, so the AK left here with the Incendiary, trying to stop Body from making his way out. He's just going to wait back here and Shiro to do any more damage. If he can get one more pick, that'd be fantastic. If he wins the round, which is a little bit more likely than you might expect, might be a way in for him, but the smoke's clear. Body's going to have to cross in the end. A backstab coming in from Lambert, slowly but surely will make his way in against Shiro. His Body takes him down. No way, Shiro. No way. 3K up from it, all down to timing and facing the right place at the right time. Lambert makes his way out. Shiro's back turned out towards the alley, and he's going to slow walk it. 40 seconds. Lambert, the time is against him.
Lambert might think Shiro went B. If he clears this out, he thinks, right, Ramp's clear, Shiro might go B. Now Shiro is going B. So this is all just mind games at the moment. But Lambert's just running out of time. He's got to make a play here.
This would be the biggest eco victory for Shiro if he finds it.
He's got to go A. There's no choice for Lambert. There's no time to go B.
15 seconds, and he's smoked down. We'll give up his position, obviously. As you mentioned, no time for any subtlety or patience. They just got to get that bomb plant and now focus on the retake. Shiro, no kit, no utility. AK creeping close, needs a headshot on Lambert. This will be a 3K clutch for the lone CT. Here he moves up closer. Lambert looking the wrong way at the wrong time. He sees the man, but Shiro's back's turned as well. And that will be 7-all. LDLC do just about come out on top there, but you could see a world in which that eco victory went the way of GAMBIT youngsters.
Was it 5 USPs? I don't think there was even a P250 in the playing field. My goodness, LDLC. That is a close one. That is taking it as close as you realistically can. A 1 versus 1. Oh, man. There certainly was a world where Shiro could have been able to clutch that out. But LDLC, they hold on and they tie us up at 7 rounds each. And Shiro, this AWP, glass cannon, doesn't have any armor.
Not the first time we've seen it out this map. I don't think it will be the last. On about here with the contact plays and the T side slowly pushing up. Afro seen by Supra. Supra gets out of dodge. And Anthony hoping that Afro overextends so we can try and punish it. Flash in will catch him blind, but Supra can't take a face. So just aggression from Afro, drawing all their attention to the A bomb site. If they go mid or B right now, then they're only going to have a player or two to deal with. The burst out, keeping Afro at bay. He's going to try and keep his life, just keep the CTs drawn out here. They do take their face in, and Supra drops in. Now the Ts have got to act on LDLC.
And Afro just had no support, unfortunately. Such a solo play that he's stuck in the open there. There's no support to be made. And LDLC, they have to make a play in this mid to B because the CTs have already rotated off of A into CT spawn. They know because they cleared out ramp. This is a really awkward position to be in for LDLC. They have to try and commit to a B site execution, you would think, because they don't know whether the CTs have already aggressed out through ramp. In saying that, though, they're now starting to clear it out.
Oh, Shiro catches Haji next up. And slowly but surely, the T's do get picked apart. Anthony here towards mid will start taking face in against a man. Lambert, awkward spray, trying to counteract it. Does take down Inters. Now got Axel to deal with here at White Box. Tagged up a little bit, spray through. He gets his double six, so turns back on the AWP headshot. But now needs 3 more picks here. What we are 1 versus 4. He sees the AWP as well. The Eagle does not get onto Anthony though. So 8-7 GAMBIT youngsters. Currently up in the half, 8-7 on their CT side. A bit of a weird struggle and back and forth throughout the course of the half, but it does go out on top for the Russian core.
Now for LDLC, Jeff, I've got a bit of a fun fact. Would you like to hear it?
Go for it.
They have currently won 9 maps in a row. That's on the hot streak that they're on, and currently 5 best of 3s in a row. That is how much of a high LDLC.
Ah, okay.
So even including the first map of this series, that now makes it 9 maps in a row. So it's certainly showing the difference from week 2 to week 4, because I think we casted certainly at least one of the games from LDLC in week 2, and you can certainly see the effort that these guys have put in. They didn't even make playoffs. I think they came 3rd or 4th in their group in week 2. Now in week 4, a surprise to even make the playoffs. A surprise to make the semi-finals, a surprise to make the grand finals. It seems like it just keeps continuing here.
And what a surprise it would be if they make the victory happen as well. LDLC, momentum on their side, everything looking good for the T's at the moment. And it may continue that way as we go to our pistol round. They are behind by a round, but now going off to their CT half. It's where GAMBIT youngsters can really shine, and LootBet believe that they will start to shine here. Of course, those are your odds on the screen that you can get involved by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel right now. You can get 10 free CSGO spins and up to €100 bonus deposit. We're going to our fantastic betting partners at LootBet. Lot of utility for LDLC. Look at the HEs, the flashbangs and the smokes. The lack of Kevlar might be more defined here. Smoke, Molotov, for Shiro, and Axel, meanwhile. Gambit youngsters have a play set in mind. Default out towards A ramp. Lambert takes contact. Doesn't take a kill. Doesn't take much damage either. The HE may be there to suppress over from the alleyway.
Now, they might try and keep these HEs on to try and deny the bomb plant, because for Gambit youngsters, they're giving them the ramp control, and there's pretty much 4 players here at this A bomb site. And Cross Smoke's coming down. They'll try and use these nades to stop the plan.
And Molotov's out, T-side making their way up. They do push Lambert back to the backline. Another player top of the white box stack. And they make the bomb into the default plant position. Will do some damage, no kills. And Molotov's in will force him even further back. Plant to be received. Nades coming up, Glock moving in, Sixer and Lambert just trying to take face. Sharon Supra there to back up Inters, and LDLC tentatively make their way in. Flash out, Inters and Supra get some simple headshots. 3-for-1 trade, 4-for-1 trade. Body finds a second, but Supra there to clean up the final. Nice and easy for Gambit youngsters. Felt like a bit of a struggle from LDLC. For the T side, it was all confidence.
Well, unfortunately, they pretty much put all their eggs in one basket. They forced back. They tried to retake the bomb site. Now, what Instas did is, we're starting to see T-side players do it quite a lot, especially in pistol rounds, is that he faked the bomb plant. He started to plant a default, moved away. The nades came in, and once those HEs touch down and don't do any damage, he just goes back in to take the plant again. And for LDLC, they really wanted to deny that bomb plant, get some sort of opening kill. It didn't come through. And Gambit youngsters, well, even the flash coming through, the Glocks find a mass amount of kills. And now, look how slow it is. Look at the difference in playstyles between these two sides. So damn passive for Gambit youngsters, but they're up against 5 Deagles on this CT side.
This force buy for LDLC has proven to be deadly in the past here in Malta Vibes. The question is, will it do anything for this round? I mean, talk about the contrasting playstyles and how passive they are playing at the moment. Gambit youngsters slowly but surely taking face. Slowly but surely looking for their way in. Nothing being offered up right now by Gambit, neither by LDLC. A bit of aggression from Shiro will shoulder bait. Did he see Hadji? He did. Nade up. He'll just tank that one. Body first to fall. Damage being done across the CD side board, and they should get mopped up right here. 6 left standing, not for long. 2-on-4 situation, and LDLC unfortunately getting cleaned up by the automatics. Could have been nice there with the Eagles, but just nothing coming through.
A lot of kills coming out for the youngsters side, and LDLC probably just have to try and save, but even that, Shiro was so damn aggressive with that MAC-10. Afro is going to be the last one left, and this is going to be a 10th round up for the Russians. The double digits now being found on their map pick. And for LDLC, on the back foot massively, and giving up a round to Gambit youngsters. They're going to have to eco going forward. So it's going to be a round after that until the rifles come up. Try and get Sixer on the AWP. Even that, though, considering he forced down to $50, he probably won't even have enough money in the next following gun round to get that AWP. A lot of the time when you see these force buys coming out on the city side, the AWPer normally only buys down a little bit, so they have enough money to go for the AWP in the full buy investment, but not the case for Sixer.
Ooh.
It was alright, wasn't it?
A wall bang spot. I didn't think you could do that. All right, teams better be wary if they're going to go back there. It is a common sort of safe spot as well. So if he got that deagle shot, he could have taken out 2 players probably at best. I feel like maybe they would have been able to avoid it, but well done. I mean, giving us some knowledge, giving the viewers some knowledge as well. I'll definitely use that in my pod games. Catch some players off guard, but the LDLC, no one's going to get caught off guard with this. I mean, we saw a close eco victory coming in from Gambit youngsters on their CT side, but it was not through this aggressive stacking through mid. Flashes evaded Inters. You can see what's in front of him. Takes out Body. You've got many more players out here. They do jump face, and Hadji does take out Inters. Axel making his way in, seeing Lambert, seeing Hadji as well. Able to deal with this position, so unfortunately no rifles going the way of LDLC once again. Hadji actually grabs an AK, so to save this one, it's already going to be a pretty decent pickup.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately gets shut down, and well, Hadji, with him getting a few kills, he actually can drop an AWP over to Sixer now. That actually might work out quite nicely if they want to go for it. No, it's actually Afro that's going to buy it instead rather than Hadji with a little bit more money. And it means that Afro is not going to have a kit. It's going to have hardly any utility. But they do get that AWP in play. And certainly for 60, you know, he's had quite a quiet map on Vertigo in comparison to that first. So this could be the opportunity to start to see him fire up. But the run boost coming out for the T side towards the B stairs.
Got to time it right. Here they go. AK rounds the corner, looks for the spray. Can't get the kill. Nades up against the man, though. And Body will take a bit of damage. Axel good enough to get out of dodge. Unable to find the frag, unfortunately. The nades to return from the CTs, hoping to do some more damage, but they've gained some B stairs control as a result of that run boost. Gambit youngsters. They went for it earlier. They could have caught a player off guard, but the fact that they were able to set up and adjust for it in LDLC means that the CT forces are able to stay alive, even though they are tagged up heavily.
Yeah, 6 up. I really like this sight line. This could be an opening kill, especially if someone tries to jiggle peek the angle without a flashbang. The T side really need to make sure they're using their utility to try and bait. Okay, no, they don't. Well, that's an easy shot from 6 up.
Never mind. And he backs up very quickly to the backlines of the A bomb site on direct. Smokes up towards Cross once again. A counter smoke from the CT is going to buy a bit of cover and make their way forward. Axel drops. Good shot from Sixer again. Boost up not going to be allowed. Close range against Inters. He's completely blind. Inters gets 2, but Body's still on the bomb site. Turns it to a 1-on-3 now. Nafani left alone. Bomb in CT control. He's making a lot of noise to know exactly where he is from here. He will pick up that bomb. 20 seconds though. Can't rotate to the B bomb site. He's got to commit in the smoke down at the main cross. Seen by Hadji. Spray through on Body. Takes him down. Info on 2. Plant. Gonna try and force them to take a peek here. Lambert. End of the smoke. Nafi's not looking the right way. That's going to be a kill. That's going to be a round for LDLC.
Can they recover the AWP? Oh no, Hadji picked one up. Okay, I was just wondering whether they got to it in time, so they will at least be able to pass that back over to 6 up. But you've got to think there for Gambit youngsters, that's something to keep in mind. Right, if we take ramp control, we need a flash, we need something, because 6 is playing around that alley position, he's playing around the sandbags towards that ramp area, so they need to make sure they have something to try and bait out the shot and force 6 back. They can't just drive face like that, because otherwise 6 will just be able to find easy pickings.
SMG for Afro, damage being done, 13 HP. He is tagged up extremely low just by blind firing for Gambit youngsters. It's already a pretty decent start as the SMG just can't get any bonus money out of these kills. That nade should have done a ton of damage to Supra. Was it blocked by like a piece of... Why is he only down to 4? I mean, I don't know. Afro, close range, Supra, AK, checking out positions. Left and right bait. He's waiting for someone to overextend. He just wants a simple headshot and a spray.
And Supra, if he's with his knife out, then this could be an opportunity for a swing from Afro. But it just comes down to timing. And Lambert, he hasn't seen them cross out through mid.
He will now. Body taking Axel for the first frag. Deagle back from Nafani gets 1 hand. He trades it back. All the same, they're pushing forward. Body burns Shira next up. 1 player standing, and LDLC's buy is going to work well for the CT side. 9 now on their board, and Gambit youngsters, it takes 2 to wreck their economy.
Oh, okay. Well, this is becoming very interesting now. 2 rounds of a deficit. LDLC, man, they certainly haven't looked as dominant, I would say, than they did on Inferno, but they're keeping themselves in the game. We're seeing some really great gun rounds coming out from them, doing a hell of a lot of damage. Oh, the nades out towards the B stairs, and well, that round's over.
Yep. It was over before it even started.
Yeah.
The bomb's under CT control. Body can see it. He's taking out another player. 1 player also at the run boost default area, but Body drops him as well. 3 kills. Knife to his teammate for good measure as well. Doesn't matter, but 10 to the board. LDLC within 1 now of Gambit youngsters' lead, and we thought this T side was where the Russians would take off.
What'd you say in the pregame? Nah, I won't get to double digits. Always believe in LDLC, mate. I tell you what, 1 round the difference. This is getting spicy. You've got to think for Gambit youngsters. They're like, guys, this is a team that should not have even made the group stage. That should not have even made the playoffs. How are we losing? How can we take control back? Because they need it.
They absolutely do. Gambit youngsters, the expected favourites by every single measure, and they could well lose their lead in their map pick. It's nades up, damage done to body and Nafi. Similar amounts of HP for both these players, but Lambert close range and Nafi has no idea. Simple kill to find to kick things off for LDLC.
And Lambert needs to try and escape, but he's going to find a really difficult time in doing so. It's going to be Afro to swing to at least help him out, but in doing that, 2 players go down, and even for Body, he's too late to be some sort of a savior to the recovery. If they walk B, it's going to be open. This should be an instant save from LDLC if they walk B.
Makes sense, 4-on-3 situation. And 60 seconds to the hit. Axel and Shiro backed up. Inters will go ahead and join 1. Time is a ticking.
LDLC back.
Gonna go for a gamble back to the B-bomb site, and that's the right call here. Take a look at Gambit. Take a look at where they're headed to. Axel and co all moving up. 40 seconds to the clock. The AKs up against the M4 of Haji. He's making quite a lot of noise here, and they're going to have to commit to this one. Molotov's out 6 with 1 pick. Haji let us spray back. Axel drops in, Body takes 1 frag back to a 2-on-2. Backstab incoming from the M4. The bomb's been dropped as well. He's going to stall for mass amounts of time, but Super gets 6 on the site, so it's all left to Body. Last man standing. 2 relatively decent kills he can find. They're low HP, but the flashbang protects Axel from this certain depth. Plant to be secured, closed off behind the orange boxes, and Body makes his way in. He misses the jump to the wood cover. Nade onto his position will tag him up a little bit more, making a lot of noise because they know exactly where he is. How will he find Axel? Just dropping down. They get just updated information every time he makes a noise. Oh, the shot baited. Axel takes him down. And Gambit youngsters hold on to their lead. Their 2-round lead going their way.
Oh, they were so low. That could have been really doable for Body. And as soon as he makes that sound cue, as soon as he, drops down, then unfortunately just more time wasting, making sure that the youngsters peak on each other's contact. And for Sixer, you saw right at the end of his death, he did turn around to that construction position just to have a bit of a peek if he was getting flanked. And LDLC, they had a gut feeling of gambling up that B bomb site, but even still, when they went for it, they were in a man disadvantage, and it came down to the duels just not working out through ramp.
Oh, flash straight on the Sixers position, going to keep him blind. No one's going to take a swing face onto it. The AWP will slow face, and the bomb's been spotted. You're right. Super is there in construction. They suspect that he is. Slow face and don't have definitive information, but if they make their way up through ramp, take him down and secure the lower ramp sort of area, then they basically won the round.
LDLC just backing off, realizing the fact they don't really want to keep aggressing. Axel just a bit of a lurk out towards B stairs to see if he can find some sort of answer to turn it back into a 4-on-4. Afro. Both players are just waiting for each to peak. Time's starting to run out. Gambit youngsters need to make a play here. Do they regroup at B or do they regroup at A? It looks like it's going to be the B play.
Oh, Super reads Afro through the smoke. Back to evens will go. Recovery kill for Gambit youngsters, but Lambert downstairs. Did he see the bomb crossing? He might cut off Super, but that will reveal his position on the backstep. He's not looking the right way. Footsteps heard. AK takes him down. And they don't even have info on the bomb just yet. They're going to make their way up towards the B bomb site. Haji with the AG in the backline. Sprays, takes down Axel, swings on Anthony, but the AWP kill comes in. Looks for his second on Body, and Sixer is left alone. 1-on-3. He has to save from here.
Oh, and that round was so vital from LDLC. They've got no money. They're going to be really having to give up a 13th unless Sixer tries to go for this. It's going to be a difficult clutch. He's got 2 kills in the round already, and he's still waiting around. Jay, I think he wants to go for it.
Looks like he does. Close for Inters. Footsteps heard. They know what's going on. Trying to scope it on Inters, but just could not quite find the angle at the right time. The AK is recovered. AWP staying in. 13-10. Gambit youngsters trying to pull away from their lead. Might just get another good round out of it as well. LDLC back to full eco here on this one. And, well, they've worked real hard to get back in the lead from this one. They won't get to match point just yet, so LDLC will have a final chance, but they'll need to do as much damage as they can and seriously reset the T-side economy from here.
And they're just rushing, seeing if they can take any of these AKs down. Inters is going to be able to find a few kills, and well, only 1 kill goes the way of LDLC. Inters the only one going down. A 14th round now up for Gambit youngsters. Does he go glass cannon orb? He doesn't. Opts against it. And we certainly saw Shiro glass cannoning on that city side in the first half. It looks like Sixers a little bit more comfortable just going for the rifle, going for the M4 upgrade.
A lack of major utility for LDLC, and of course no AWPs here. Get Afro so close to Super, and in the midst of the smoke, he'll reveal his hand first. Kill coming in for the AK. Haji can respond on Axel, but Super so quick to follow up on the second. There's one player left on the A bomb site from here. Body standing by with an incendiary backup. He's trying to make his way out from the ladder room towards the backstab and make their way back in. He does get Nafri. That's a bomb drop, 3-on-3. A chance presents itself now for LDLC.
Do they want to keep aggressing? Because GAMBIT youngsters are going to be ready if they do. All these footsteps are being heard from Body. The timing on this could be excellent.
Hearing footsteps, one player's back turn. If you wait patiently, you can find a little bit more. Shiro can respond, but Haji's also there. He drops that bomb again, and Shiro is the last man standing. Orb now known to the CT favor. One player rotating out from mid, and Shiro counter-rotating against Haji. He's going to make his way back downstairs into the ramp position. Knows where that bomb is, waiting for face, waiting for contact. AWP gun barrel being seen. Scopes out, takes him down. It's all left to Lambert, 46 HP, Shiro on 100, M4 v M4. How does Lambert play this out? Does he go for an aggressive face? Does he try and get up high? And look on towards the doorway area, and 30 seconds for Shiro to make his own decisions.
He has been able to pick up that bomb at least. All these footsteps are being heard. It's certainly going to be an A commitment rather than bringing that bomb over to B. And Shiro clearing out the site as best as he can. Fake plant going through, baked out Lambert, and he wins out the clutch. Shiro, a massive, massive round, and that's going to get them 15. Economies reset once again. This should be GAMBIT youngsters starting to run away with their own map.
Back and forth on the trays, but it was GAMBIT youngsters that came out on top in the end. And they're forced by coming back from LDLC to recover their situation here on this map. The 2-0 dream may well be dying here. Not quite dead just yet. One final chance for LDLC to bring themselves back into this map up, but GAMBIT youngsters, real good spot to go to Dust 2 here.
They should be able to do it right here, right now in round 26. It's a relatively poor buy coming out from LDLC. No M4s, 4 FAMAs, and an MP9 to work with. They're just waiting for aggression. You look at all these positions being held from GAMBIT youngsters, they're waiting for at least one member of the city side to overextend, look for some sort of opening kill. And they're at least right in thinking that, because even for Haji, he's pushed very aggressively in the B stairs.
They're going to try and suppress as much as they can here, disallow any chance for GAMBIT youngsters to get the opening kill, let alone the execution set. Afro, one for Mars out alongside his backup. 6 are there, forced back Afro here in the scaffolding entrance. Nades on 6, taking a bit of damage. Counter flash comes forward. He still takes a face. Afro gets one. Shiro responds. Crossfire from Body, and Sixer takes out Super. Back to a 4-on-3. LDLC with a mass HP advantage. And look, they're going to rotate right into the hands of Haji. They've got no info on his player. He'll take out Axel. Look for Shiro. Knows exactly where he is. Probably saw that bomb on his mini-map, but Shiro takes him down. Nafany, then they cut off the rotation. Look at the spray! Oh, Nafany! Dropping all that remains of LDLC. A great chance brought by their aggression, but it was aggression from GAMBIT youngsters that wins them 16 and takes us to map 3.
Oh, and that's a spray transfer if I've ever seen one. The control on that to line up and take down 3 players of rotating all to defend that B bomb side. And in the end, GAMBIT youngsters, I certainly think that they may have been a bit surprised in that first half in how close that it was. But once they got into the second half, the one big thing that really was a huge element for LDLC's, I suppose, weakness was that they never really got the economy rolling. There were so many rounds that they were getting reset. We saw rounds that they were having for Masters out rather than M4s, and GAMBIT youngsters capitalized on the fact of keeping that economy low for pretty much all of that second half.
I mean, it seems like a retaining issue over in the first map as well, because you noticed several times where LDLC's economy just couldn't quite get going. It got reset super easily by the GAMBIT youngsters side, and meanwhile, when they got their SMGs rolling, when they got their economy built, it never really got broken essentially. So some issues when it comes to LDLC's fundamental sort of understanding of Counter-Strike, and again, that was one of the things I was worried about with this map up. But it isn't a problem that probably extends a little bit further than just this map. For LDLC, they showed up a performance that I wasn't expecting, and I definitely did not see. I did not see us going to double digits. I thought this was going to be a 16-8 at best. But very clearly, I've been proven wrong in that respect. LDLC have a really, really good chance going into our final map, but it is going to be the GAMBIT youngsters with the momentum swing. Dust 2 is the map that will be played out. It was won by GAMBIT youngsters. Last time they played a best of 3 against LDLC, it was a 16-3 victory, and the Frenchmen will try not to replicate that result in our last map of the tournament here. We're going to a short break as we get into map 3 of the grand finals. Don't go anywhere.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best tickle fights I've been to.
Welcome back to Malta Vibes. Welcome to our last map of our best of 3 in the grand finals between GAMBIT Youngsters and LDLC. A surprising set of results. I didn't think LDLC would be here, but here they are with a serious chance to take it above the GAMBIT Youngsters side. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Dwayne for this final map up here. And, well, what a final map up it will end up being. Dust 2 as the sort of like the decider sort of map up. And again, to mention how we saw in the last series when they took each other on in the group stage, this Dust 2 went 16-3 to the favor of GAMBIT Youngsters. Something tells me that that's not going to be the same case here. LDLC are looking switched on here for our final matchup.
I was just thinking, like, how do I say this broadcast friendly? Like, they got smashed last time with Dust 2. They got properly smashed. Now, like you said, I'm really hoping that it's a different affair. We're certainly seeing it in the best of 3 so far, that it's not the same LDLC we saw in the group stage that just got smashed by GAMBIT Youngsters. It certainly seems like a team that's putting up a good performance. Even in that second map, they put up double digits. So, look, going into Dust 2, I certainly think that LDLC are going to have a rough time. But in saying that, they had a bit of a rough time on Vertigo, and they still put up double digits.
I think that's also down to GAMBIT Youngsters having a bit of a rough time so far in the matchup today. You know, like there have been some players that, you talk about LDLC being switched on. I think some players on the GAMBIT Youngsters side were a little bit switched off. I mean, again, to go back to the pregame and stuff that you were saying on the part of Shiro and Axel, Shiro may be doing all right. He's currently at the top of the board, second top of the board right now for his team. Axel, though, only 32 kills across 2 maps, of which both of them went quite far in their own respects. So, like, you're taking a look at the situation for them and for him, and it's like, well, where's he gone? Usually Axel's the guy that's like topping out the board alongside Shiro. You see those 2 players up top, depending on if the AWP is getting as many opportunities as it usually should do. And then it's just those 2 players training back and forth for top fragging positions. And that's just not been seen right now for Axel. Like, what's happened to him today?
I don't know. He put up like positive 23 in the semi-finals, and then he's come into the grand finals and he's put up a pretty weak performance. So, yeah, look, I mean, maybe it might come down to a little bit of pressure. Certainly, at least in my perspective of looking at the way LDLC have played in map number 1 and map number 2, they've been very irritating. They've been very difficult to read because they're just so damn aggressive. And sometimes for an individual player, if you're playing a team that the team feels difficult to play against, often you can, not play at a very high level. And I certainly think that's what's happening to Axel at the moment. He's struggling to be able to play his own game. I think going into Dust 2, he may be able to kind of pick up his act, and I'm really hoping that he is. Because if Axel and Shiro can show up on Dust 2, then this could be like another smashing, I think, for GAMBIT Youngsters.
Absolutely, and with it being such a frag-heavy map, you talk about the T side and how well it was working over on Vertigo, and how well it was working over on Inferno as well, with the 6 rounds of lead that GAMBIT Youngsters had when they were just looking so sharp and solid. And then you take a look at what they can do with that on Dust 2, being such a T-heavy map, being so based around entry frags and map control being forced by getting picks. And you take a look, that's right up GAMBIT Youngsters' alley. Like these guys are just so on the ball when it comes to crosshair placement, aim, timing, all these things that you would need to get good frags on the board. And yeah, I just feel like for Dust 2, we could be looking at a simple map up for GAMBIT Youngsters, but that all comes at the condition you mentioned. Are the players going to be on form? And that's the real question we have to answer going into the final map.
And one thing, we've taken, I suppose, like chain logic in things like, statistics and percentages and what have you, which is always a great thing to talk about in the pregame. You look at like some of the results from LDLC and you go, okay, they got 11 wins on this map, but they're against Nexus, Little Mix, Brute, Big Academy, Singularity, who are in shambles at the moment. And you think, right, okay, they've got good wins against low tier 2 teams, high tier 3 teams, whereas for GAMBIT Youngsters, like a win over Na'Vi is like absolutely massive. Like those are some big names, close games against Secret, Havu, Complexity, Sprout, teams that are, tier 1 teams or top 2 tier 2. So you've got to think for GAMBIT Youngsters, everything points in their direction going into this final map of the series.
Absolutely, and a fun little tidbit is that the last time LDLC played this map, it was against GAMBIT Youngsters in the group stage.
Yeah.
So they've not got a lot of fun times, and some of their losses, some of their wins have even been close. They even took losses to Nexus on their second run around over on that map, over on their last Dusty map up. So overtimes against alternate attacks, which they ended up losing in a very, very devastating fashion because it went to quadra overtime. So they've been playing for a long time on certain map ups, and they're still unable to go past that final hurdle. They go past that finish line. And to me, it just looks like it's going to be a Gambit Youngsters victory. But my only concern is whether or not those players are going to show up. I think that there's a possibility that LDLC could take it quite close. I'm not sure whether or not the lack of performance from guys like Axel is going to affect them too massively in terms of the actual wins going the way of Gambit Youngsters.
I think it is, honestly. I certainly think when you got a big player, when you got a star player like Axel not showing up, yeah, you know, it's going to make a difference. There's no doubt about it. And if everyone's saying, oh, you know, someone else can show up, yeah, they can, but Axel's your main man. And in a grand final like this, where everything's lying on this victory and your main man's not showing up, yeah, it can certainly make a big difference. And I certainly don't think it's going to be as one-sided as the last time. And the reason for that is we were surprised on the first map in the series. We were surprised in the second map of the series. The LDLC have been able to put, 16 rounds on their own map, 10 rounds on the second. I certainly think in Dust 2, we're going to be looking at double digits at least for them once again.
I don't think there's enough evidence and enough of a case study to go with that and predict that in a confident line. I wouldn't disagree with you personally. I mean, I could see it going either way when it comes to single versus double digits. But you know, I feel like Gambit Youngsters should have enough in the tank to get them over the edge, especially if they get the T-side start. If they, or actually, no, I should scratch that. Like, I think the idea of a T-side start on Dust 2 can be a little bit counterintuitive. If you get CT side and you can focus on just getting as many rounds on the initial sort of start as you can, and then going in knowing how much ground you have to make up. I know the endpoint player style like that when they pick their CT side. I think Gambit Youngsters could do well to fit into the similar sort of vein. But you know, momentum right now is on their side, and coming out of Vertigo, going into Dust 2, like it just feels like the setting is certainly fit right now for a Gambit Youngsters victory and their first victory here in Malta Vibes.
Now, I don't want to take anything away from Gambit Youngsters. I mean, I might be kind of spitballing this here, but you've got to think for LDLC, they're an advanced team, right? How much would this victory mean for them to not only get a big chunk of prize money, but get a boot camp? You know, an advanced team does not get a boot camp any so often. So for LDLC, you've got to think in this final map of the series, they could be fired up. They could be like, right, boys, like we've got a really good chance here. If we can play our own game, if we can, you know, play a style that works for us, like they did on Inferno, very in your face, very aggressive, just unleash Hadji. Just, you know, take him off the lead and be like, you know, just go, mate. Just do whatever you want. Because what he was doing on Inferno, he was finding picks, he was opening up bomb sites, and he was being a nuisance to Gambit Youngsters. Now, if they can replicate that going forward, they're in for a good chance on Dust 2.
And obviously a lot up for grabs for LDLC, but they've got to beat a top 30 team to do so here, Dwayne. It's going to be a tough ask for this squad. Of course, we're getting into our knife round here for Dust 2. So a reminder to you all that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. And I'm going to ask you for your prediction in this one. Whose favour are you favouring? Aboard Gaming Youngsters, are you favouring LDLC? By how much? By how little? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm certainly favouring the Russians. It's got to be Gambit Youngsters going in this last map. I'm going to give double digits up for LDLC, but I'm not going to give them any more than that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think 16-10 is going to be my predicted scoreline for Gambit Youngsters. They should have enough there to go with it. LDLC, they would have had a bit of enough there. They would have had enough of an opportunity, enough of a time sink in order to go through the last demo that they had against this squad. Go through and figure out how they can outplay them, how they could potentially sort of like block the massive scoreline coming through. The question is, do they have the talents left to do it? I think that Hadji will need to step up and really do some massive work for LDLC. I'd like to see Axel coming to the fold. If he can get some good frags on the board, if he can really, let loose of his own right, then Gambit Youngsters will be able to take easy control. Shiro is going to be the main man to watch here for the Gambit Youngsters side. Let's see if he can bring the thunder. Let's see if Gambit Youngsters can bring the victory to their favor. They are the expected winners according to our partners at LootBet. And again, if you want to take advantage of the odds on screen, you can go and click the banner under the Twitch channel. Take advantage of 10 free CSGO spins and up to €100 bonus on your deposit. It's the pistol round with Nafany on the defuse kit. The double flash for him as well. Double flash smoke for body, smoke flash for Afro with a P250 on LDLC. Contact being established for the T-side start on the Frenchman, and Axel and Shiro here to crossfire, take out Lambert and kick things off.
It's quick, it's fast, it's out of the gate for the T-side, but unfortunately they haven't been able to find any entries just yet. A player in towards a pit position as Shiro is going to be able to capitalize on 2 kills, and the CT side, they can back off. They've got a huge advantage, they've done a lot of damage onto Afro, they don't need to keep fighting and don't need to keep staying aggressive.
Speed's backed up here to the A bomb site, as you mentioned. No need to continue facing forward. LDLC backed up outside of the T-spawn in the mid position as well. LDLC currently set to the short control It's GAMBIT youngsters. We're going to go out towards the long and outside the long house. Top body is the only man to get a pick right now for the T side. Bomb being dropped over to Afro as he's going to have to do the honors here. 18 HP though. If he goes down late in the round, that might just be the pistol going the way of GAMBIT without even needing to win all the frags. Spread out across the entire CT board, so that's exploitable for LDLC. There's a bit of potential in this T-side round. As they read Axel's position, they'll know what's going on. Sixer takes out one. Super quickly taps up his head. Axel takes body, and Afro last man on 18 HP. This will be a confident pistol for GAMBIT youngsters.
And that just looked really simple. They were able to take the long challenge. They siphoned off a couple of opening kills. They put a smoke down to the long corner, and they just fell back. They played the numbers advantage. They had that 4 and 3. They established a crossfire between short and sight. And from there, LDLC, they put a smoke down. They see if they can at least get some ramp control, get that bomb down on the site. Unfortunately, they get shut down for it. No bomb plant going through for the French side, meaning, Jay, that we're not going to see a force buy coming out from them in round number 2.
Yeah, easing off on the aggressive buy strategy that we've seen from these guys. You know, I mean, they love going for the force-ups, especially when they get that bomb plant. So seeing them lose control of the bomb plant, way back in for GAMBIT youngsters to follow suit with a simple follow-up round. I mean, they've got scouts out for Shiro, which won't be able to do much against Kevlar players. Backing in helmets, maybe it might be a bit more of a better opportunity to do the aim punch damage as well, throw off the pistols, and doing their work. Afro set up for the run boost, it seems.
Double run boost.
Coming straight. Oh, Shiro taking Haji down immediately with that flick. Body does chime back though. USP set up. Axel getting Afro next up. Axel doubles up, triples up with a tap for the headshots. Last man standing is Lambert. 4K for Axel, 2-0 for GAMBIT youngsters.
Oh, okay. Shiro certainly firing up to start this Dust 2 off, and it's great to see that both Shiro and Axel are finding a lot of impact to get going. The two leading fraggers at the moment for this GAMBIT youngster side, leading on the server to say the least. But it was only some very light upgrades, a lot of Glocks out, so you don't expect too much to be found from LDLC, but you do going into round number 3.
Look at a scout getting aggressive for Shiro. GAMBIT youngsters trying to fight fire with fire, it seems. AK is coming out for LDLC, and they drop Axel first. So that's one player taken out immediately. Against the FAMAS next up on the back of Shiro and Nafany. Or Shiro and Inters, I should say. Isn't that fast, man? I think there's an M4 that dropped as well. So quite a bit of firepower taken away from the CT side.
Super starting to push the upper tunnels though, so he's going to get the information that it's got to be an A play, but I don't even know with this information how it's going to help them, because the long challenge is already coming through and the split out through short from body. Shiro's alone.
Yeah, he's going to get suppressed, surrounded, sprayed up, taken down. 5 on 2, and it's best for Nafany and Super to save their weapons. Maybe get out towards Longhouse. The Longhouse take out Sixer and grab that M4 if they can. AK probably be a better upgrade for the FAMAS, but you know, M4 AK better situation in the world, but one on the board for LDLC as the rifles come out and do their work for the T side. GAMBIT youngsters weren't able to build their economy state either. They invested pretty heavily into this one. Seeing the rebuys coming back from LDLC, probably should see a bit of an eco coming around these rifles, and if they can keep them in play, may see another force back coming in the following round. But either way, the most likely thing for round 4 is going to be an eco from the CT side.
LDLC, what a great split into that A bomb site, pulling a lot of distractions away, getting a great opening as they took down Axel. And from there, Body, he just charging up through the short face with the long contention coming out. And some really nice opening kills coming through. A great response as well to at least deny any kind of early momentum for the youngsters and starting to put some rounds up on the board, get 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row, etc. It's been cancelled out pretty much straight away. LDLC, can they follow up to tie us up? That would be really important for them, especially with the fact that they actually forced the issue here, so it's not the best of buys at the moment for the Russians.
Straight out for Body, taking that opening frag here. The M4 on the T side. Shiro can nade him back though. Scout out set now, and Nafany makes his way in from CT spawn. They know exactly where that scout's set up. He still does some damage. Haji and Afro attacked up very, very low. The nades coming in from Nafany can take him down. Headshots not landed on cross. The bomb can be planted successfully, but look at the 4v3 that GAMBIT have found themselves on. Everybody around about 100 points of HP. And you've got Hadji on 36 on 31. LDLC heavily tagged up on their execution. And as the CTs make their way in, they're still in with a decent chance. AK out, Sixer takes out Nafri. Next up to face. Super takes challenge and takes out Lamba. Hadji's low and dead. Sixer last breath, battling 1 versus 3. Spray Manic, but doesn't connect to the kill. Shiro with the USP takes him down, grabs an AK. The defuse will come through, and that is going to be a third on the board for GAMBIT youngsters.
Oh, what a round. That's a really great retake coming out from the youngsters, but it all just came up with the chip damage. I think we saw 3 or 4 tags coming out with the scout there from Shiro, doing just so much work in just at least weakening up their opponents. And LDLC, unfortunately, they're not able to continue that momentum. Now, they do have enough money to at least rebuy the investment and going into round number 5. Now, with Afro with a good spawn out from long, he's going to carry the AWP, trying to look for an opening pick, and then chuck that orb back to Sixer.
Good shot from Afro. Brilliant start. It's going to continue pressing forward, though. Try and look for the next player out of Axel. The flashbang's evade is going to let him cross out the middle of the smoke. There with a teammate to crossfire. Try to take him down. He does not get out alive, though. Shiro can find a 2-for-1. Damage done to body. He's going to try and look for a 2-for-2, but the swing comes in from the AK. Gets the headshot first, and Nafani and Super in a 4-on-2 situation. It's not gone well for GAMBIT.
No, it isn't. And even when Super extends further, Hadji's just so ready. Oh, the timing. What? He was waiting there for like a whole 50 seconds. He was there for so long. Ah, it's unfortunate. Oh well. Anyway, GAMBIT youngsters just going to save. So this round's pretty much all but over. The long challenge in particular has just never really come out on top for GAMBIT youngsters. It seems like even though they're finding kills and they're sometimes finding openings, they're losing long every single round. So if you're the CT side, you're thinking, right, let's just take 4 players out to long. Let's use our utility, get a player into the pit, maybe see if we can establish a crossfire out from the long corner with someone at car, and then bring the players back, because you need to take control of long, because LDLC will just keep doing the same long default every single round.
What's the answer here? Continue aggressing, trying to find nades on those positions, nades stack, potentially passive control of the long place, a long house.
Just got to take 4 players there and take control with utility and then force players back. That's like, if you're trying to take long on the CD side, you certainly need 3 or 4 players. You get a player into the pit, 1 into car, and then full 2 players back to maybe a double mid play, or, you know, maybe go for a 1-2 split, something like that. But you can't keep challenging long with only 2 players, because this is what's happening. GAMBIT youngsters are just getting deleted out from long, and Axel's not finding pretty much any impact at all at long.
Concerning for him, obviously. He had a bit of a weird series so far, but been able to put up some numbers down to the sheer chaos going down in that particular respect and how many bodies been thrown at his direction. A tactical pause called by GAMBIT youngsters to rethink their approach to this matchup here. LDLC have held contention. Even though GAMBIT youngsters are still in the lead, I don't think they can afford a full-on buy here. They're probably going to force the investment because Shiro's on $4 grand. They have got 4 rifles to back up. Axel finding one of his own, so. Okay, let's see what they try and go for here on GAMBIT youngsters. What are they going to adjust going into round 6?
I just think they need to take control away. We even see with Body, right? He's just running up through short pretty much every round. Maybe just trying to fight aggression with aggression in terms of more numbers. And certainly it's going to be difficult with the buy that they've got. They don't have a lot of great weapons to work with. And here it is, 3 players out towards long. It's not quite 4, but they're taking control completely. They can force a player back, and straight away, that's exactly what they're doing. Leaving a player around Axel into that pit position, and that's fine. You only need to leave 1 player at long.
LDLC. Mid control, Hadji. AK facing, looking for an opening frag. Nobody is going to be in a position to follow the stage. Shiro backed up here to the open short face. Simple's a nade on as well to try and force them back, but very little damage coming in from the CT cam, and it seems very similar to how the rest of the defaults have come through for them. Left 1 player out towards long, not as aggressive challenge from LDLC. They're pretty passive, hoping for an overextension this time.
And they've got options. They can either fake short and try and commit mid to B, or they can just completely commit up through short because there's 4 players here. Maybe just try and work together as a unit rather than continuing the default out. Mashiro, straight away, you can pull the attention over, call the rotations out.
There you go. Shots on body. Body takes him down. Sprays back on the next play. Gets that second headshot nice and easy. AK super is close. Looking at 6 next up with the AWP. Gets him down. Lambert has planted on default, I believe. No, on shore, but still loses his fight to Supra. 3 on 3, and the HP again massively favors the CT side. Supra is tapping heads, and suddenly Afro is left alone in a 1 on 3 situation. LDLC overwhelmed by the tag damage for a second round here, and the FAMAS in the back takes him down, grabs a free AK, and GAMBIT youngsters steal 4 back from the T side.
What a retake. Super in particular, man. I don't know how this guy does it, but he just puts up the huge performances in multi-kill rounds. We've seen, what, 5 or 6 rounds over the course of this best of 3, maybe even more, of where he's been able to get 3-4 kills. Fantastic work with the AK out through ramp, just tapping away. And even the late lurk coming out to take down Afro out through him short. A very strong round indeed from the youngsters, but it hasn't quite reset the economy from LDLC.
Now, they built up quite an economy basis, contrary to the last couple of maps we've seen from them, obviously with the money line being reset quite frequently by GAMBIT youngsters. A bit of a nice change of pace for the Frenchman. Orbs out on either side of Shiro and Sixer, but this next round will reset the economy if GAMBIT youngsters can take it. Vice versa applies, however, to the CT side. And LDLC, fast play into the mid position, going to establish that CT mid control. Inters and Nafri going to hear this. Shiro and Super up those first couple of frags. Nafri has Lambert, meanwhile, on the window face. Sixer can't fire away towards mid. Afro is pretty deep in the B bomb site. Does not see the head of the man up. Big box. We'll check out Inters instead, and Inters takes him down. So a confident hold off against the ET side, leaving Sixer alone to save his AWP.
That's what they need, GAMBIT youngsters. They need a round where they're really confident. I think both players would have heard themselves. They know exactly where Sixer is. He's got so much work to do. Good shot does come out to Axel, but already one in the backside. And he gets taken down. A fifth round, I should say, going up the way of the GAMBIT youngsters side. And LDLC, I mean, it was a pretty good fake. They faked out the short commitment. They went fast into the mid to B, but just got shut down. And well, one place that you won't get shut down, open for absolutely everyone, is Hellcase.com, our fantastic case partners sponsoring the event. Malta V and Malta V15, a couple of codes for you guys to use at home, to use on the website. A little bit of credit to put in your account, and a 15% refill bonus. We like all those added extras, don't we, Jay?
Yes, great. Love it. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not really in the skin game at the moment because I've got no money, so, you know, I can't really...
oh, mate, gotta be in the skin game. Look at that butterfly. That's where it's at.
It does
Skins
look
equal
sick.
skill.
It does look sick. I'm not going to lie, right? You know, like, some of those codes have tempted me to get involved because, you know...
yeah.
Gives me a little bit of a discount, but... I don't know. If I can justify it after the invoice comes through, then maybe I might consider it. For now, Shiro going to take out Afro and put some frags on his invoice. He hands over to LDLC. LDLC says, give me a round in exchange for kills. 6 to go to the board of GAMBIT youngsters, assuming this eco goes swimmingly for the rifles. Right now they're spread out across the board. Mid control has been conceded by the CT. So LDLC have at least that, but just every face is going to lead to them getting picked apart by rifles here.
And things are starting to fall apart from the French. And Afani even swinging out through mid and saying that they're backed off. And Sixer just drops that bomb out from short. Immediate information coming through. And this round looks like it's pretty much all but over. Good spray coming in through for Nafani. It's 6-2 up. Now, Jay, when we did see GAMBIT youngsters take on LDLC in the past in the group stage, we did see the youngsters start up on the T side where they went 13 rounds up on T. They're now starting CT and they're up 6-2. They're putting on a very similar performance, at least so far, on the opposite side.
Shiro out, good shot, gonna get missed out in the midst of the smoke. The flashbang's gonna keep him blind, and Hadji makes his way out with the AK. Sees 3, and he's not ready for any one of those positions. He does take a spray, does some damage, and actually Sixer finds Axel as well, alongside the assistance of Afro. 4 on 4 now. The AWP focused into is gonna tap up towards the short control. Nafany, the M4 against the Galil. Turn away from Lambert, seeing, spraying, M4 takes him down. Expecting more mid-control, though. And GAMBIT youngsters with their flank-out positions will leave the B-bomb site open. If they rotate now, they could make a way in, and now they've gathered a bit of a short rotation through the tunnels as well.
Oh, Super seeing the info. Straight away, he can call that out. Right, I thought 3 players out through Xbox. Enters, can shut this all down. The spray coming through, and he only finds a pick, and now it's down to Shiro. Connects onto that, and it's all down to Sixer. A 1-on-2 clutch from him, but Shiro just gets around the corner. Sixer's got so much work to do, and he drops in towards CT spawn.
Ooh.
Takes down 1. He can get a bomb plan to this A-bomb side. Super, oh, he pushes through the smoke. And that bomb goes down. Sixer not being able to clutch it out. The timing on the pressure from Supra. Now, that bomb would have potentially allowed them a buy in the next round. But they've got no money, Jay. This is LDLC just getting absolutely slapped at the moment on the T side.
Missed chance there for them, but Sixers wasn't looking the right way at the right time. So they'll have no choice but to concede here for LDLC. Bit awkward with the way they have to take that challenge, but, you know, it is what it is. Nafany starts things off on body, takes him down immediately with a headshot through the smoke. Super ready for a spray back on the rest of the T-side players making their way out. Drops that bomb. 2 picks found. Plenty more to get. Nade on. That should do enough. Not quite, actually, but either way, 5 on 2. Not a single lick of damage done to GAMBIT youngsters. They've got bomb control. They've got B-site control. All the CTs have to do from here is just slowly rotate out through CT spawn, get to that bomb, set up the crossfire, and they've won 8.
Well, maybe LDLC are now thinking maybe we probably could have banned this map. This is looking to be a really rough time. And crossfire being set at B, bomb just dropped in the open, and not a single point of damage is done to the CT side. Things are looking really good. Things are looking really great. And you look at the kills. Now, considering they're 8-2 up, you'd expect, oh, you know, someone's going to be on 15 kills, someone's going to be on 12 kills. No, it's single digits for everyone. And that's because it is a team performance at the moment for GAMBIT youngsters, not an individual performance. I mean, Lambert, he's got 0 kills, Hadji on 1. Individually, LDLC are struggling massively in comparison to GAMBIT youngsters.
Numbers stepping up well enough for certain players as well. They've gone a bit quiet. GAMBIT currently looking in top shape here for the final map of this series. Potentially may well be going their way as well. Seeing if LDLC can find some sort of response back here. They have struggled, and that smoke from body. You can't afford to miss smokes like that. As soon as he jumps up, he'll be seen here by Nafany, and he can take it down easy with a simple frag back. Nades on towards short, expecting more control there. He gets away, scathed 70 HP. But still a 5 on 4 for the CT side.
And now they're thinking about maybe making some presence over to this B bomb site. But again, we're seeing a lot of a dual setup here at the B bomb site rather than a single defender. This HE, if it gets timed right into the upper tunnels, could do a hell of a lot of damage. Oh, it does a lot.
Hadji takes Supra to 4 on 4. Chance for LDLC, but trades are so easy right now for the CT side. Hadji's on 48, Afro's on 4 HP. Lambert 100 though, takes out Axel, also in the short position. The AWP Shiro can try and back and deal with him. That was Lambert's first frag in this round, but it won't go unsupported. Sixer takes Inters out to the mid face. And now they've got a 3-on-2 situation with CT siphoned off either A or B. There's a player at each.
They need to get a move on. They're really running out of time at the moment. Afro's low, Sixer's low. Hadji's got to be the man to try and step up. They've dropped that bomb. Ooh.
Okay, they just figure
you
it
know,
out.
I was like, what's going on here? But they are going to split to BJ.
Imagine if they left that bomb up mid, got the B-site control, and then realized, well, we effed up. Shiro quickly out with the AWP to try hold on. 4 seconds to the clock. Nades on Afro to try and suppress Nafany. They've got a pretty good setup considering the HP numbers. They're all so low, and Afro gets Nafany, leaving it all to Shiro. Last man standing. He's not even going to bother for this. AWP more valuable for the CT side, and LDLC a really awkward stance to take with those numbers, but they do manage to make it work.
And it was probably a few mistakes being made there from GAMBIT youngsters. Rather than just playing passive in the sites and kind of playing the numbers game, we saw overextensions. We saw Axel pushing forward out from short, seeing if he can get off any information. And from there, as soon as he gets punished, LDLC, they work as a unit. They go down quick in through mid to B. Yeah, it was a little bit of a worry dropping that bomb for a little moment of time, but Ashiro gonna save onto this orb. Ooh, it's a bit uncharacteristic. He normally hits those.
Didn't even need to hit the orb shot as well. We could have found a pistol couple of kills because they're so low on the T side. LDLC getting away okay. 3 rounds to the board, 3 players staying in check. Keep these rifles out and do some more back to them. But a lot of work will need to be done right now to bring back this comeback, and especially with an 8-3 CT half, LDLC really need to get something going here. They need at least a recovery chance in the second half, and Sixer will start opening up opportunities for them. Axel will drop first. A 5-on-4 situation, and GAMBIT youngsters from the long control not going to make the same mistakes as before. They won't bother with the trades. They'll fall back passive and wait for LDLC to come to them.
And Axel certainly struggling at the moment towards that long position, really not finding a lot of impact at the moment. Desperation's coming up. And LDLC, well, they capitalize on a relatively easy opening pick with the AWP. And Sixer's able to get into the pit position. Now from here, they can just establish the cross smokes, walk up for long, and leave Sixer here.
Set up here, 3 players going to move closer, slowly but surely. The M4 spray will do minimal damage. It does tag Hadji and Body quite a fair amount, though. The M4s could do some damage with this. Hadji on 24 HP, planting pretty open as well. Yeah, very bit dangerous. Supra will end up going down to Lambert next up. He goes falling back to Nafli. 3-on-3. Inters finds one. Afro on site. Bomb gets dropped. And the hesitation from LDLC will cost them big time. A 1-on-3 now for Sixer. Flashes in, M4 spray does not do any damage to take it down. But this will be a night for GAMBIT youngsters. They're closing in the back lines as well. This AWP will not even survive into the next round.
It certainly doesn't look that way. Going hunting, it means a lot. And yeah, there it is, Shiro in the back lines with that AWP. A 9th round up for GAMBIT youngsters. LDLC aren't catching a break at the moment. All 3 rounds that they've won, Jay, have been individual, singular. They have not been 2 or more in a row. And that's probably one of the most worrying signs, I would say, from LDLC, is the fact that they haven't been able to win rounds in a row. They haven't been able to find any kind of momentum. It's just been shut down every single time they win a round.
Flashes over, Incendiary's up. Hadji going to lead the charge straight into short, not wasting a single second with this initial play. LDLC are desperately hunting for kills, desperately hunting for a way in, because they are just all sorts of shut out here. 9-3, looking to make it 10-3 for GAMBIT youngsters as Shiro starts. Body will start exiting out towards shore. He's basically unsupported though. His teammates siphoned off by smokes. Inters will take him down anyway as he swings and can't do anything. 5-on-3 situation. And the face up from Body does find Inters for 1 good frag, so 2 for 1. But it's still favored to the CT side with long control contested. Shiro takes out Lambert. Body dropping it towards CT. Gonna look for anything. Sixer goes down. Bomb's been dropped. 1-on-4 for Body. There's just no way for him in this one. He gets 1 headshot, but a clutch that might actually be more possible than you think. Bomb picked up. Did he see Supra? Did he see? No. Axel not even needing to take face. That's going to be a headshot kill. AEK and AWP saved. 10-3 for GAMBIT youngsters.
They're done. I'm even calling it now. I think they're done. And the reason for that is you can just see like the mentality in some of their defaults. The fact that Afro is just wide swinging out through mid or crouch peeking into a duel without any flash, without any kind of support. It's just desperate plays, and it's just, you know, them really trying to find something. And again, you know, even the bomb plants, I haven't found a lot of them. GAMBIT youngsters 10-3 up. I just don't see there being a way back in here for LDLC. They've just not been able to find the success they found on Inferno and Vertigo on this first half for Dust 2, and it's the T side as well.
Yeah, it's just not looking good at the moment. Damage done. Supra taking out Sixer. 5-on-4 situation already for GAMBIT youngsters. There's no way. No way back in for LDLC. Incendiary's up. Lambert will take out 1 kill with the P250. Nades on site, though, will do damage and taps up from Axel. Takes him out in the end. Incendiary on bomb site. Tech9 takes a frag. Axel responds with a 3K. Up for his 4th. Not quite against Hadji. 2 players left standing. The Deagle's got to get no more headshots, though. Flashes in. Desperately needs another pick back here. Nafi facing around that corner. Damage done. Jump face for the Kelly shot. Super can't take it down. That flick's good, though. Hadji forced to reload. 50 seconds. He's got time. He's got mind. He's got presence and pace. He just needs the kill. He just needs the headshot angle. He spotted it. Couldn't take the shot. Will reface. See the man 2 or 3 times, but can't connect the accuracy. Nafany there with the frag. There with the kill. GAMBIT youngsters continue the hot streak into round 15.
Oh man, you were starting to believe that shot was absolutely filthy coming out from Hadji, and even for him, right? Like, yeah, he hasn't put up a crazy amount of kills so far in this series, but how much success he found on the T side of Inferno, I thought he was certainly going to be able to bring that to the table in Dust 2. He was aggressive, he was in your face, and he's only got, what, 3 or 4 kills. It is a fake to the quick B site execution. They might even try and go in for a quick mid to B. Yeah, that's what it is.
I mean, at this point, why not? Throw everything you got on the wall, because right now nothing's coming up good. Supra takes out 1 body. He's going to get overwhelmed by Supra. The AWP pulling distraction is Supra. Catch him at the end of the smoke. Looks in for a triple. Afro couldn't deal with him. The AWP Shiro holds on for 1 frag, leaving it all on Sixer. 1 on 3. And he can't even get a shot on Intis to take him down. Tag out to 6 points of health. And needs so much more than this. Back turn to Nafany. 12-3. What a half from GAMBIT youngsters. And we feared the same 16-3 scoreline from their best of 3 in the group stage, from their Dust 2 map in the group stage. And it looks like that may be the likely outcome right now for the Frenchmen.
And this is probably, I would say, the first time we've seen GAMBIT youngsters really firing up. I mean, look, yeah, first map was closed, second map was closed, but this is just, it's not even in the same ballpark. It is just so damn dominant coming out for the Russians. They look sharp. The crossfires are being set. The rotations are there. Everything looks really good. And for LDLC, it's... I expected more, honestly. I expected a lot more in this first half. I certainly thought that they would be able to turn things around, considering how different the last series was between these two sides going into this best of 3, but it looks like for Dust 2, it's just overwhelmed them. It really has, only putting up 3 rounds in that first half. This pistol is certainly necessary.
Yes, it really is. I don't know how they're going to manage this one. This is just going to be too tough for me. Straight out here for GAMBIT youngsters out into the lower tunnels. The T side set, the CTs trying to contest. They've got body aggressive, trying to look for a headshot back here. We just can't seem to land his kills. Got Sixer also moving into the mid door area. Taps up from Lambert, flashes go over. Smokes go down. Actually a fake coming through from the decoy and actually forces him to face away. Body. First to fall from Axel's part of things. Sixer tapping up P2K Lambert, desperately looking for a kill. And they have gotten suppressed for the most part, but just shoulder baiting, timing it well from GAMBIT youngsters. Gets 3 players to cross out towards Shaw. Supra not ready for Sixer's aggressive phase. Caught on the reload. Inter still got his back turn. Hadji, it's Nafany next. And now it's a 4 versus 3 for LDLC. They haven't checked tunnels though. Inter could do so much. He misses his bullets. The GAMBIT youngsters have the A site control. They have a bomb plant.
And Axel's going down into CT, which is going to make it more difficult for him to work with his teammates. But these are the 2 players we've spoken about all day today in the pregame to start off the game. Shiro and Axel in a 2-on-3. All the information's coming through, and he gets overwhelmed. Shiro's going to be the last one left. He's buying himself a bit of time, but a great shot coming out from Afro. And LDLC with the kit, don't even need it. They can stick the defuse and come away with a 4th round. That's the start they needed, but they need to capitalize now going forward, because you'd expect there's going to be a force buy.
All right, away in now for the CT side, and suppression towards mid did a lot more than what they would have thought there. Like, they were struggling to get the kills, but GAMBIT youngsters couldn't take the map control they wanted to, so in the end it falls their favor, and it looks good at doing so. The CT side stays alive for the moment.
They're not
You
going
must
to
imagine.
force.
You must imagine if they lost that pistol as well, then things would have gotten very awkward. GAMBIT youngsters looking for the full-blown rifles, though. They know that they could still just force the issue past the finish line if they can get a good rifle round in.
That's very surprising. GAMBIT youngsters are a team that normally with a bomb plant like to go for the force straight away. But, you know, like you said, they want to get those rifles up in the next round. They've got a hell of a lot of rounds already up on the board. If they could get another bomb plant, imagine that.
M4 is 6 up, looking on site, flashes over, seeing 1-2 players drop in, body will rip them apart, nice money going the way of the SMG. The bomb is allowed to cross, nade up, jump face from body, takes Axel down. How'd you get Shiro as well? So all 5 stay alive. 4 kills for body as well, so that's a lot of money going his way. And a real big opportunity now for GAMBIT youngsters. The buy-up coming through, AWPs out immediately for Shiro, AKs across everybody else. Let's see if they can win a round back.
A bit of confidence coming out from body with that MP9. And I was wondering about that, because certainly LDLC would have known that last round they weren't up against a force, so they actually buy the rifle back for Sixer. Even though they didn't need to buy the AWP, considering 5 players stayed alive, they do so anyway. But Lambert already getting tagged down. That is not the greatest of starts coming out into round 18.
47 HP. Might cause some issues if they're not careful. He's playing pretty passive, however, on the B bomb site. It's mostly relying on Afro to do the damage if necessary, but they're going for short control here. GAMBIT youngsters lean towards the A bomb site, as they like to do. Up at 1:10, though. No major aggression has led to a kill or damage done to the T side.
And Sixer and body trying to set up some nades. HE's coming out, see how much damage they do to the T side. Actually, not a lot. And GAMBIT youngsters, they're going to just try and push through.
Nafany reads Hadji behind the box. Opens things up for the T side. Bomb picked up, making his way in. AWP spotted as Nafany takes face. Body's so low on HP, and Nafany can triple up. Lambert and Afro have to save. There's no way into this one. Yes, GAMBIT will lose the pistol and the conversion eco, but as soon as the rifles come out, it's perfect.
Well, that's maybe why they didn't force in their last round, because they knew.
Yep.
They knew as soon as we get these rifles up, it's feeding time. We're hungry. And, well, 13 rounds now up for the youngsters. LDLC, the pressure put straight back on them. And you'd think they're going to probably force the issue. At least Lambert can drop a rifle. Afro can drop a FAMA. So there is a bit to work with. And not a massive amount, though. We certainly won't have enough money for the AWP. Yeah, maybe a FAMAS and an M4 drop. It just comes off the back of the thinking, what do we do here? Do we want to force the issue, or do we want to eco? Yeah, they're going to force. That's a tough call to make, but you can understand it.
Yeah, it's not looking amazing.
They just got to put rounds up on the board, and unfortunately, when you're down 5 to 13, you've just got to make some risky plays.
What is the risk here? 4-man stack towards A site, flashes in to allow the longhouse control. If they put 4 players out to crossfire it, take out Axel, that would have made more sense, a bit more of a risky kind of play there, but keeping their options open, short presence held. Very passive from the T side, all things considered. Especially to the longhouse, where Axel didn't even extend. He saw the utility coming through, was like, I don't want any of that. Holds back, keeps his life, keeps his HP. GAMBIT youngsters slowly but surely take mid control and set up for whatever they really want to go for here, including the longhouse, which has now been vacated by the CTs.
A bit of a bait and switch setup coming out from short. Sixer with the scout. And did drop down while body's just on the corner. So slow coming out from GAMBIT youngsters, going back to their slow methodical default. And short control being found with ease when everyone just falls back.
Body with the FAMAS moving in. Edge of the smoke alongside Hadji, and Super catches him at the edge of said smoke, takes him down. Nafany ready for another face back in. Smokes go up, flashbang comes over, Hadji evades it, back still turn, but Nafany does not push out. He's so close, but eventually gets caught off guard. Nafany with 2 frags, nice and easy. His entries in this map have just been fantastic, and every map it seems a new player from Gambit Youngsters shines bright. We saw Super doing stuff over on Inferno, now Nafany's here on Dust 2. It's perfect right now from the T side.
One thing that Gambit Youngsters do quite a lot, especially on the T side, is that they don't really have like a dedicated entry fragger. It's kind of just like whoever wants to take it. And it sometimes can be really difficult to read because certain teams may have an entry fragger and it's like, right, you know, if we've seen him, we take him down, we know he's the entry, or, you know, if he's lurking out, then it gives you a bit of information. But for Gambit Youngsters, it can be any one of these 5 players that open up sides. And Nafany in particular, the in-game leader, especially on this T side of Dust 2, man, has he been finding a lot of success out through short.
And I mean, when you've got a team like Gambit Youngsters who have so much frag potential on each and every player, like, you know, it just makes sense to play it like that because anyone could be the guy taking central focus. And yeah, we have seen some players that we've seen that have more spotlight time than others. Naturally, right now, it's his time to shine, and he's shining bright. 20 kills so far in 20 rounds, keeping up with the averages. And certainly exceeding anything that LDLC are throwing up on the board. 15 frags at best for Body, their second highest fragger over on the T side. Well, the 2 second highest fraggers, Inshiro and Supra, are also on those same numbers. And LDLC recognize that they need another way in. They are 9 rounds down. They don't even have a buy in this one. The best bet is to save, go all the way to overtime. As unlikely as that sounds, there's just no way a force buy's going to work here.
There really isn't. There really isn't. But, Jay, they are. They don't think that they have any other options. And you've got to think this force buy is going to be up against full AKs, an AWP, and a team that is absolutely thriving on entry kills. Oh, even the tag. They've cleared B.
I mean, if they can make this buy work, then they could potentially do something with that going forward. You know, they could potentially just save themselves a survival round. But look at the aggression from Lambert, and look at how Shiro just shuts it down. 9 points of damage done to a full spray on the M4. Like, LDLC really are just not having a good game. Inter's going to keep control held out. Taps up from Hadji, spamming his way through the Deagle. Does catch Super for at least a bit of damage, but jump facing against the bomb plant is going to be less than likely at this stage. And Super can plant behind hard cover. Fakes it once. Hadji jumping up. No, he doesn't go for it. Flashbang in, just going to keep the T side players blind, but surely LDLC must save their weapons for the overtime round. The M4 will peek and get 1 frag down, but it's so low on HP across the entire CT board. They will stack up, look for a final shout into the dark here. Smokes up, face in from Afro, goes down. Damage sustained continuously by the CT cap. 2 AK sprays lined up. Porty gets 1 trade, but he's the last man standing. 1 on 3. Nafany with another 3K. And LDLC up against a Gambit Youngsters side that are on map, match, and tournament point here in Malta Vibes. 1 round will do it, get them the lion's share of the prize, and go straight to Malta for a boot camp.
Seems like Nafany's had a bit of a chat with Super in the break, but before this map started, and was like, mate, you know, what's your secret to all these 3Ks? You know, is it the certain water? What's going on here? Because he certainly picked up everything, and you look at this buy, Jay, and you think, man, this is going to be a rough time for LDLC.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be so unbelievably impossible, I feel like. Lambert at least flashed in to get down Axel. Super quickly finds a trade though, and Shiro ready for any more aggressive CT faces with the SMGs out. Ready to pick them apart slowly but surely. Hadji just going to wait and bait and hold the defensive because the defense is all the LDLC has.
Smoke coming out through... Oh, don't tell me it lands there. Oh, okay. Can you imagine that? No, I've never seen that smoke before. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite, but it still gives them a bit of cover out through mid.
That would have been the most perfect smoke in the world, though. Like,
can you imagine that? Yeah.
That's one of the theory crafts. See where you have to place that because I don't think it might have been like a bit mistimed on the jump. So maybe the jump bind was a bit awkward. Either way, I didn't know that existed. So well played to GAMBIT youngsters, and well played to them to be cool in the next 40 seconds because they're a man up. B side's open. Afro will try and back for one, but he needs so much more defensive here on the tunnels take coming through. Flashbang over. Here they come. Tags up, Deagle's in, shots not connecting, and GAMBIT youngsters can get a bomb plant from here.
LDLC trying to go in for the retake, 3-on-3, and it's do or die for them, Jay. They've got to find something, and even for Sixer, he's so low. 2 players coming in the back lines on the CT side.
Shiro gets back to the back line, going to focus fire here on the tunnels take. Flashes come in. Haji sees his head, takes a headshot down. Shiro makes his way in. Napoli drops him, and 2, not quite a third. Inters, 1-on-1. Haji needs his headshot right around the car corner to keep LDLC alive. He's running out of time as well, and Inters will close it. GAMBIT youngsters, as dominant as they were on Dust 2 in the group stage, will be as dominant here in the grand finals.